Chapter 207. Let's go. When Li Fan saw Yan Kai hurriedly running out, he shouted and ran outside. What happened? Li Fan subconsciously chased after him and asked, what did Yan Kai do to the commander that made him so angry? Well, this commander has something to do with that fatty Wang. While running, Yan Kai explained to Li Fan. The fatty Wang that he mentioned should be the boss Wang that Li Fan beat up. When I asked him if fatty Wang had licked his dick, he became angry and shouted that he wanted to cripple this old master. Yan Kai was somewhat puzzled, but the two of them are so close. If it's not this kind of relationship, what else could it be? Li Fan almost collapsed. This Yan Kai's head is probably full of things like long yang fetish. This idiot, can't he think of something healthy and green? Also, that so-called commander, his temper is too big, saying a few words and then he starts killing. Yushika is still here. If he let her make a move, he and Yan Kai would have no chance to escape. Catch Yan Kai! A skinny middle-aged embroidered uniform guard chased after him and shouted. This person should be the commander of this place. Li Fan looked back and found that he was wearing black clothes, a golden vest, and a hat that symbolizes the commander. He has betrayed the genie guard. Kill him on the spot. The genie guard has an assassination order, so many of them are ruthless. For example, the last time he met Li Wenjue, in order to kill him, he did not hesitate to implicate innocent people. Li Fan, it's not too late for you to leave now. Yan Kai said to Li Fan, they don't know that we are together, so you won't be implicated. We came in together, and we will leave together. Li Fan said without hesitation, although I hate you, I will not be a villain. As soon as he finished speaking, 3 banner guards of the embroidered uniform guards rushed over from the side. Each of them carried a goose feather saber and pounced towards Yan Kai. No matter what, Yan Kai was still an expert who had reached the next level. With the help of his inner Taiji, he did not care about these 3 imperial bodyguards. He shook his hands, and the power of Tai Chi burst out. The bodies of the 3 small flags were immediately sent flying. The real killer move came from behind. While Yan Kai was dealing with the 3 flags, the commander threw out 3 black darts. The darts drew an arc in the air and flew towards Yan Kai's back. If they really hit him, Yan Kai would probably be lying on the ground. Fortunately, he had Li Fan by his side. With a twist of his body, Li Fan tossed out the grappling hook hanging from his waist. The claw shook in the air and flicked away the 3 darts. So he has an accomplice. The commander looked at Li Fan coldly. Take him down as well. Leave the eldest disciple of Wu Dang to me. At this moment, a Baihu wearing a gold-rimmed red vest jumped down from the blackboard. He looked at Yan Kai with a smile on his face. It's the killing saber. The 2 banner guards at the side did not make a move. They were just watching the show. One of them said excitedly, he is good at using 2 swift sabers. His saber skills are as fast as the wind. Many people in Jianghu tremble in fear when they hear his name. Ever since he joined the embroidered uniform guards, he has been very successful. In less than a month, he has been promoted to the position of Baihu. I heard that he has his eyes on Li Fan, who is on the blacklist, and is planning to take him down and promote him to a Qianhu. Wow, he's so powerful. The other banner guard was a little envious. Of course. Now those 2 flag commanders are dead for sure. When the killing saber heard these words, he smiled proudly. He pulled out his saber from behind his back. Seeing Yan Kai and his accomplice standing together, he was ready to take their heads. What eldest disciple of Wu Dang? That was just an empty title. His swift saber had never failed before. The 2 sabers were about to cut the necks of Li Fan and his accomplice. But at this moment, the two of them moved together. Get lost. Don't block the way. Yan Kai pulled with his palm. A suction force was generated. The killing saber staggered forward, and his body lost balance. Li Fan's tiger claw landed on his head and threw him to the ground. Bang! The floor cracked. The killing saber fainted. The two banner guards at the side were dumbfounded. These two banner guards actually crushed a Baihu. Am I dreaming? Li Fan knocked out the so-called killing saber. When he turned his head, he saw Yushi standing in the information room. She was still calmly looking at the information inside, as if she did not care about the commotion outside. That's good. Li Fan breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that Yushi did not care about this kind of thing at all. She probably felt that there was a commander outside who could handle this kind of thing. Truly trash. This seat will personally take care of you. The commander's body shot out. He jumped high in the air and threw out a row of black darts. Dang, 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 dang. They nailed the ground in front of Li Fan and his accomplice, blocking Li Fan and Yan Kai's footsteps. With this seat here today, none of you will be able to escape. As the commander spoke, the true chi on his body began to fluctuate. Soon, his clothes began to bulge, making him look slightly bloated. He no longer looked as thin and weak as before. Using true chi to strengthen your body can produce an effect similar to the alien bone-changing technique. Yan Kai explained to Li Fan, he is an expert who has reached the pinnacle, be careful. Come, come, come. I'll play with you. Li Fan crooked his finger at the commander. Childish. The commander coldly snorted and waved his hand at the wall beside him. A great spear hanging on the wall immediately flew up. It spun a few times in the air and finally landed in his palm. Letting the two of you die under this seat spear is not a waste of your life. Give up. I, Yan Kai, am someone who wants to be an international model. How can I die here? Yan Kai's dream is really ambitious. It made Li Fan wipe his cold sweat. What a gibberish. The commander said as he waved his great spear, this seat's divine dragon spear will take your life. With that, the commander's great spear suddenly stabbed forward. It was indeed clean and neat. It turned into a black shadow and went straight for Yan Kai's throat. However, Yan Kai was still an expert. He accurately placed his hand on the spear's shaft and pulled it behind him. The power of Tai Chi is specialized in borrowing force. The commander was pulled forward by his own force and staggered a step forward. Li Fan followed up with a move. He raised his leg and kicked the commander's chin with a white deer kick. Normally, a kick that could explode a person's head was kicked on the commander's head. However, it only made his head lift up. There was even smoke coming out of his chin. Chapter 208. Lesser Phaseless Magic. The embroidered uniform guards all use lesser phaseless magic to strengthen their defense. The commander's strength was obviously that he had practiced this martial art to the acme of perfection. Li Fan's white deer reverse kick landed on the commander's face, but it did not cause any damage. The commander's face only twitched a bit, but there was no wound. Did you not eat? The commander sneered, how come you don't have any strength? Do you think you can hurt me with just this little bit of martial arts? Ridiculous. Don't be too proud. Li Fan readjusted the chi in his body, keeping himself in peak condition. After all, the commander's strength was at the peak, much stronger than both Li Fan and Yan Kai. If they did not join hands, they would not be able to defeat him. Yan Kai, if it was 2 years ago, you might have been able to fight with me. The commander said to Yan Kai, but the current you, I do not even put you in my eyes. And your accomplice, no matter who you are, serves you right today. You're destined to die here. Don't be provoked by him. Yan Kai transmitted his voice to Li Fan. His nickname is the Dragon God Spear. His spear technique is outstanding and he is especially good at provoking his opponent. If you fall for his provocation, it is equivalent to falling into his trap. I understand. Li Fan said softly, causing the commander to laugh. Ha ha ha, no matter what the two of you are talking about, you are destined to die today. With that, he took a step forward and brandished the great spear in his hand. With a sweep of 1,000 caddies, it was as if he wanted to flatten everything. This time, the commander was prepared. The chi and strength of his spear were too strong. Even if Yan Kai used his internal tai chi, he would not be able to completely dissolve it. Yan Kai's outstretched hand was repelled, and the spear tip swept towards Yan Kai's neck. Yan Kai hastily lowered his body, brushing past the spear tip to avoid this attack. As for Li Fan, he stretched out his arms and filled them with chi, blocking the commander's great spear. Bang! Li Fan's body was sent flying by the shockwave, and a powerful force erupted from his body. He swam more than 3 meters away before he stabilized his body. Li Fan shook his arms, which were already completely numb. You actually managed to block my spear. The two of you have no regrets in this life. The commander shook his spear. The tip of the spear was filled with powerful primary energy, seemingly forming a ray of light. Yan Kai, you have to hold on. Li Fan shook his arm to dispel the numbness. Yan Kai laughed and directly pulled out his belt from his waist and infused his true chi into it to form a sword. I can handle him with one hand. Shit, it's obviously your other hand that's holding onto your pants. If you don't grab me, won't you be naked? What if the wind blows my butt out of shape? Fuck off. The two of them started scolding each other, and the veins on the commander's forehead bulged. He was obviously infuriated. The two of you are actually chatting. You're really brave. The commander suddenly sneered, forget it, you're going to die anyway. If you have any last words, just say them. I won't die here. Idiot, bring it on. The two of them hooked their fingers at the commander at the same time, causing the commander to sneer again. Good, 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 let's see how much you two can struggle before you die. Tai Chi sword. Yan Kai waved his Tai Chi sword and directly stabbed towards the commander. The suction force of the Tai Chi sword gave the commander a headache. But what gave him an even bigger headache was that Li Fan, who was standing there, suddenly roared, and his body suddenly expanded a bit. From a muscular man of more than 1.7 meters, he expanded to more than 1.9 meters in the blink of an eye. But to Li Fan's surprise, the clothes and vest on his body were also stretched out. They were a few sizes bigger, but they didn't burst. What material is this clothes made of? It's so awesome. The commander was not surprised by the clothes, but he was surprised that this embroidered uniform guards abnormal bone-changing technique. Bear. Mount. Army. Li Fan roared, the energy on his body trembled, and spread out in all directions. Yan Kai's treasured sword was already in front of the commander's eyes. The commander directly stretched out his right hand and grabbed the sword. Although there was a strong black hole-like energy on it, the commander's minor phaseless technique was also very strong. He used his hand to block the sword. The sleeves around him were shredded, but his palm was unharmed. At this time, Li Fan had already arrived in front of the commander and slapped him with the Ursa Major seal. Bang! The commander's other palm followed, and the two men's palms collided. True chi surged out, and Li Fan was almost sent flying. But his feet were firmly planted on the ground. It was as if his feet were rooted to the ground and he did not move. Li Fan did not use the dragon toad's absorption of water. After all, this move was too evil and high profile. If he was not prepared to kill in one go, Li Fan would not use this move to avoid alerting the enemy. But the commander's strength was indeed strong. Fighting 1 against 2, he was not at a disadvantage and even sent both Li Fan and Yan Kai flying. Weak, too weak. The commander said disdainfully, the two of you want to defeat me with these fancy moves. What a fool's dream. And you are not an embroidered uniform guard. Who are you? The commander's gaze landed on Li Fan. You actually dare to impersonate our embroidered uniform guard. You really have guts. My embroidered uniform guard's branch is not a place where you can come and go as you please. I really like to walk around when I have nothing to do. Li Fan laughed, the air in this place is a bit bad. It's like a tomb. How shameful must you be to hide in such a desolate place? Shut up. You really have guts. The commander was enraged. The embroidered uniform guard has been established for so long, but this is the first time I have seen such a crazy person like you. If I do not tear you into pieces today, I will kill myself with my dragon god spear. With that, he suddenly leaped and the spear in his hand seemed to transform into a dragon as it stabbed towards Li Fan. Brotherly, be careful. Yan Kai immediately extended his hand and activated his Tai Chi power. A nearby table was pulled up by this power and blocked in front of the commander. Bang! The table was directly torn apart by his spear and the tip of the spear was in front of Li Fan's nose. Ha! No matter how fast the opponent's spear was, it was still slower than Li Fan. Thus, the commander had miscalculated. Li Fan leaned to the side and dodged the commander's spear. At the same time, he grabbed the spear with both hands. Chapter 209. Li Fan is currently in the Bear Rider state, so his strength is at its peak. He holds the great spear with both hands. Although the commander's strength is not weak, he has just used up all his strength and has yet to recover. Li Fan grabs the spear and swings it with brute force, fiercely smashing it into the wall beside him. Tai Chi palm. Yan Kai follows up with a palm strike, slapping the commander's chest. Bang! The commander's body presses against the wall, causing cracks to appear. The two of them work together again, using all their strength. On the other hand, the commander cracked his neck, pulled himself out from the gap in the wall, and landed on the ground again. The little phaseless magic greatly strengthens this fellow's defense, causing Yan Kai and Li Fan to feel despair. Are you in despair? The commander's voice carries a sense of supremacy, as if he does not place Yan Kai and Li Fan in his eyes. The little phaseless magic is too heaven-defying. Although Yan Kai's strength has greatly decreased, his Jianghu experience is abundant, but he definitely has a weak point. As long as we find it, we will win. Let's test his weak point. Li Fan and Yan Kai charge forward again. The two of them choose to be agile and continuously use their fists and legs to attack the commander. This commander is like a Vajra god of war, not caring about the two's attacks at all, allowing them to hit him here and there. As for whether he will wave his dragon god spear and counterattack the two of them do not dare to face his attacks head-on and choose to dodge. Two monkeys, are you still stubbornly resisting? The commander's face is full of mockery, it's useless. You will only end up as ghosts under my spear. Li Fan did not refute. He has already kept the Bear Rider and switched to using the crane strike technique, attempting to hit the commander's weak point again and again with the white crane strike. However, after hitting many acupuncture points, the commander is still safe and sound, as if the one being hit is not him but someone else. The two of them try many times, including piercing his eyes. Hit for me. Yan Kai kicks the commander's crotch, but the commander still has a smile on his face. Tai Dan. Have you two had enough fun? The commander's eyes were still filled with mockery, while Yen Kai's brows furrowed deeply. That shouldn't be the case. The minor phaseless god technique does indeed have a weak point. Where exactly is his weak point? Li Fan glanced at Yen Kai, then at the commander. For some reason, he suddenly had a strange thought. Go ask the king of hell. The commander suddenly thrust out his spear again. Li Fan could tell that this fellow was not using his full strength each time. It was as if he was toying with the two of them. But the more the commander despised them, the happier they were. Li Fan was waiting for a surprise attack. He suddenly rolled on the ground and flipped behind the commander. Then, he kicked the commander's anus. Unexpectedly, the commander subconsciously turned around and fired a shot, forcing Li Fan to retreat. With a backflip, he landed on the ground and exchanged a glance with Yen Kai. He had found his weak spot. Motherfucker, this fellow's weak spot was actually his anus. Fuck, he really knows how to find a place to hide. This place was really something that ordinary people would not be able to find. If he did not suspect that Yen Kai was an anus, he might not have found it either. So what if you found it? Can you hit it? The commander seemed to be getting serious. He suddenly swept his spear, bringing with it a sharp chi. Shwa! Li Fan and Yen Kai were forced to take a step back at the same time. The ground seemed to have been carved with an iron pen, leaving a deep one. The commander held the divine dragon great spear in his hand and sneered, I have to praise you. You actually found this seat's weak spot. But this is of no help to you. With that, he raised his spear and attacked Li Fan and Yen Kai. At this time, the commander used at least 80% of his strength. The spear tip carried a terrifying chi which was many times stronger than Yen Kai's taiji sword. Li Fan and Yen Kai hurriedly rolled to the side. The spear stabbed a statue at the side. This statue of an unknown big brother was immediately stabbed and directly exploded. It looked like it was in pain. You two little bugs, where are you hiding? Obediently come to this seat and die. Fuck, are you retarded? How is that possible? Li Fan could not help but raise his middle finger at the commander. This fellow was too troublesome. Fortunately, Yushi was still reading the information in the data room and did not care about what was happening outside. Even the commander himself did not ask for help from Yushi. If he asked for help from Yushi, he would be disgraced as the commander. Our Lord Commander is angry this time. The two little flags who had been watching the show started to discuss again. That's right. Even if he won a Baihu, he would not be a match for our Lord Commander. The other little flag nodded. Let's make a bet. Bet on what? Bet on when they will die. Listening to the discussion of the two little flags, Li Fan became unhappy. Fuck, how inauspicious. You two kids, what are you waiting for? Let me out. I want to fight 300 rounds with him. At this moment, Monk Nyo, who was locked in the cell, suddenly roared. Are you a man of your word? Yen Kai was overjoyed. If this Monk Nyo was willing to join the battle, their chances of winning would be much higher. A monk does not lie. Monk Nyo placed his palms together and muttered. That's good. Yen Kai snatched the key from one of the little flags and opened the cell for Monk Nyo. In the end, Monk Nyo jumped out and directly attacked Yen Kai, causing Yen Kai to react in panic. Why are you hitting me? Yen Kai was still in a daze. You are the one who captured me. If I don't hit you, who else should I hit? Didn't we agree to only hit the embroidered uniform guards? A monk does not lie. You are sick in the head. Look at which monk drinks. Monk Nyo's words caused Yen Kai to be speechless. With Monk Nyo holding Yen Kai back, the pressure on Li Fan was like a mountain. The commander was much stronger than him. With Yen Kai around, it was still better. Now that Yen Kai was not around, he could not handle it alone. Li Fan suddenly had an idea and shouted to Monk Nyo, help us out. I will treat you to some good wine. Waha, kid, remember what you said. Don't worry. My words are more reliable than yours. Li Fan's invitation to drink was more useful than anything else. Monk Nyo immediately roared and picked up the body of a little flag beside him. He swung it like a club and smashed it towards the commander. Chapter 210. Although Xiaoqi's body was protected by the little phaseless magic technique, he was still being used as a weapon by Monk Nyo. Humph. After all, Xiaoqi was his subordinate. The commander could not be merciful. He kept his spear and stretched out his right hand to catch Xiaoqi's body. But what followed was Monk Nyo's fist the size of a clay pot. Bang! This fist was blocked by the commander's spear. The commander's spear did not even shake, showing how strong he was. Monk Nyo, do you think you can defeat me? The commander held a dragon spear in his hand and looked at the huge man in front of him with contempt. I can break your spear with just a bit of strength. Monk Nyo said as he grabbed the commander's spear with both hands. Hee, I want to see if you have that ability. The commander's spear suddenly exploded with a huge amount of chi, repelling Monk Nyo's hands. Monk Nyo gave up on the spear and took a step forward. He grabbed the commander's shoulders with both hands. Li Fan could see clearly from the side that Monk Nyo's moves were mostly based on smashing. However, the commander was protected by the minor formless divine technique. It would be difficult for him to hit him. Monk Nyo, let me help you. Yen Kai used both hands to pull the commander's spear, trying to block his attack. Monk Nyo's hands were already on the commander's shoulders. He actually lifted him into the air, ready to smash him down at any moment. Child's play. The commander's expression did not change. Even though his body was upside down in the air and his spear was being pulled, he still used his other hand to slap Monk Nyo's forehead. Although the commander was most proficient in spear techniques, he had the little phaseless magic technique. The strength of this palm technique was not light. When the palm landed, it had the power to break through wind and thunder. Monk Nyo's forehead was hit and blood flowed out of his nose. But he still stood there and slammed the commander's body against the wall behind him. Boom! The wall collapsed, and the three of them crashed into the room next door. This was not the end. Monk Nyo continued to push the commander's body, breaking through 3 rooms in a row. Finally, he slammed the commander's body into the last wall. Even though Monk Nyo had also reached the peak of perfection, it was clear that his martial arts had only just reached this level. He only had about the strength of 4 dragons. As for this commander, he had the strength of at least 5 dragons. His strength was enough to crush them. This was reaching the peak. According to Murong, if one wanted to become a grandmaster, they would need at least the strength of 10 dragons. On the other hand, Li Fan only had the strength of 6 tigers, which was the strength of 1 dragon and 1 tiger. The difference between him and the commander was too great. If it wasn't for the fact that the commander hadn't used his full strength, he and Yen Kai would have already met their maker. Especially since the commander's body was protected by the powerful lesser phaseless god art. He was smashed through so many walls, but he was still safe and sound. He was stuck upside down in the wall, and he only sneered at Monk Nyo. That's it. The commander's smile made Monk Nyo feel like he was about to collapse. This fellow, what a tough body. Monk Nyo was speechless. Looks like it won't be easy to drink this wine today. Hades has already prepared a cup of wine for you. As the commander spoke, he prepared to kill Monk Nyo. But at this moment, a shout came from behind Monk Nyo. Lower your head. When Monk Nyo heard this voice, he did not hesitate and immediately locked his neck and squatted down. At this moment, Li Fan's figure appeared behind him and fiercely kicked the commander's head. Li Fan did not make a move just now. He was waiting for this opportunity, and at the same time, he was secretly accumulating his chi. The white deer back kick was a move that required sufficient accumulation of strength. Now that he was given such an opportunity, how could he not use it? At this moment, the sole of his shoe was imprinted on the commander's face. Li Fan heard a crisp cracking sound. It seems like the commander's skull was cracked by his kick. Bang! A large piece of the wall behind him also exploded. Rubble flew everywhere and smoke billowed out. At this moment, the great spear suddenly broke through Yan Kai's blockade and swept towards Li Fan's abdomen. Li Fan was pulled out and fell to the side pathetically. The smoke slowly dissipated. The commander's mouth was bleeding and his eyes were filled with blood. He stared at Li Fan. Fuck, this fellow's cultivation is so high that it's scary. He used his head to eat my white deer back kick of 200% strength and is still alive. Li Fan could not help but give him a thumbs up. This is too fierce. You actually dared to injure me. The commander's teeth fell out. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and roared. Airwaves danced in all directions. Even Monk Nyo's body was somewhat unstable. Did this commander use his full strength? Everything in the room was vibrating as if it was being pulled by the commander's strength. A man with the strength of 5 dragons, even Muroning would need to spend some effort to deal with him. And Li Fan's strength was still too weak. To challenge such an expert now was beyond his limits. All of you must die. It was unknown whether it was because of fresh blood or anger. The commander raised his dragon god spear and his eyes were bloodshot. This person is too strong. Why don't we retreat? Yan Kai asked. We have nowhere to retreat. We must kill him. Li Fan understood that if they retreated now, they would only die. This kid is right. What are you afraid of? This Buddha will kill him together with you. As Monk Nyo spoke, he wrapped his arms around a pillar at the side. Then, his arms swelled up, and with a crack, he actually broke the pillar off. Lackey of the imperial court, go and die. Monk Nyo swung his arms and the thick pillar flew towards the commander. Scram! The commander roared angrily and thrust his spear forward with his left hand. It was as if a divine dragon was dancing in the air. Boom! The pillar was instantly broken by the spear and turned into large pieces of rubble that flew in all directions. Li Fan used the crane's hand technique to continuously deflect the stones that flew in front of him. Li Fan was indeed a little anxious. This was the enemy's headquarters. The longer they dragged this out, the more disadvantageous it would be for them. Once other Baihu or Chinhu heard the news and came over, they would probably fall into the abyss of death. That's right, Achilles' heel. Attack his Achilles' heel. Yan Kai, help me create an opportunity. Li Fan begged. Alright, this Taoist will fight it out with him. Yan Kai let out a long roar and used his qinggong to dash towards the commander like a gust of wind. Die! The commander roared and the spear in his hand turned into a bolt of lightning. Chapter 211. The commander's spear was like a bolt of lightning, stabbing towards Yan Kai. What the commander and Li Fan did not expect was that Yan Kai did not dodge the spear. He opened his arms wide and welcomed the spear, allowing the dragon god spear to stab into his abdomen. The dragon god's spear easily tore through Yan Kai's abdomen and came out from his back, bringing with it dark red blood. Yan Kai laughed loudly and grabbed the spear with both hands. Following that, the power of Tai Chi began to circulate in his body. Coupled with the strength of his muscles, he forcefully held onto the spear, preventing the commander from pulling it out. What? The commander tried to pull the dragon god's spear twice, but it did not budge. It was obvious that Yan Kai had sealed it. How is it? Do you still think this Taoist is easy to bully? Yan Kai's mouth was stained with blood, but he was smiling very happily. Damn it! The commander roared again and again, wanting to tear Yan Kai into 1,000 pieces. But at this time, Li Fan, who had unknowingly appeared behind him, held his right wrist with his left hand and aimed at the commander's chrysanthemum. 1,000-year kill. Li Fan had been gathering true energy on his finger for a long time, and he shot it out like a bullet. The commander turned around and saw a wave of energy instantly appearing behind him. His eyes were filled with fear. He wanted to dodge, but it was too late. Pooh! Red blood burst out from the commander's buttocks. His eyes bulged out and his mouth opened wide. At that moment, a trace of tears rolled down from the corner of his eyes. The commander's body trembled slightly, and he knelt on the ground. He stuck out his buttocks, unable to make a sound for a long time. It's done, Li Fan let out a long breath, and Yan Kai suddenly pulled out the divine dragon spear, directly pierced it into the commander's temple, and poked it out from the other end. The commander's weak point had been broken, so he could not circulate the minor phaseless divine technique. He was easily killed by a headshot. If he doesn't die, then we will die. Yan Kai held the wound on his abdomen. Although he had performed emergency hemostasis, it still looked quite painful. Little kid, don't forget the promised wine. Monk Nyo licked his lips, glanced at Li Fan, and then looked at Yan Kai. Lord Zhang has an important banquet tonight, so I can't accompany you too. See you later. With that, Monk Nyo patted the dust off his body, turned around, and ran outside. Very quickly, he disappeared without a trace. The two of us should escape as well. Li Fan helped Yan Kai up. If we don't leave now, we won't be able to. From now on, I will also be on the blacklist. Yan Kai laughed proudly. The two of us worked together to kill a commander who had reached the peak of perfection. Our names are going to be sung in the martial world. You should take your medicine. Li Fan rolled his eyes.
As he led Yan Kai out silently, he reminded him, this is the embroidered uniform guard. The embroidered uniform guard will not allow the news of their commander being killed to spread. You're right, Yan Kai was somewhat stunned. Could it be that the commander was killed for nothing? But Li Fan admired Yan Kai. When he was still ruthless, he was definitely not careless. He was the real veteran of the martial world. He was still lacking. When they left, they still had to pass by the reference room. Li Fan directly carried Yan Kai and used his qinggong to leap over the wall outside the reference room, so that she wouldn't see their figures. If this woman came out to stop them, then they would all die here. You're so domineering. Yan Kai leaned into Li Fan's embrace and suddenly said softly, my little heart is beating so fast, get lost. Li Fan threw him on the ground. Walk by yourself. Damn, I was just joking with Brother Li. Why so serious? Yan Kai rolled his eyes. He stood up from the ground and walked into the elevator with Li Fan. Tell me, are you gay? Li Fan leaned on the other side of the elevator, trying to keep a distance from Yan Kai. Of course not. Oh. I believe you. But can you stay a little further away from me? Take a step back. The elevator is only so big. Where else can I go? You call this believing me? There's an old saying. I don't know if you've heard it before. What? Yen Kai asked. Never have the heart to harm others, but never have the heart to guard against others. Li Fan replied expressionlessly. Damn, heaven and earth can be my witness. Brotherly, I don't have the heart to harm you. Yen Kai raised 3 fingers. It's even worse if you have other intentions. Brotherly, this isn't very good. I have a big hole in my body. How can you treat me like this? I deeply regret it. But you can't treat yourself as a woman just because you have a hole in your body. Damn you, Yen Kai couldn't help but curse, I'm in great pain now. I don't want to quarrel with you. This Taoist sexual orientation is very normal. Then I'll introduce a girlfriend to you later. Li Fan said, you're as beautiful as a flower. There must be a woman who likes you. No, women are too noisy. Yen Kai said without hesitation. Then I'll introduce a boyfriend to you. Yen Kai burst into tears. Looks like I can't clear my name even if I jump into the Yellow River. The elevator quietly came to the upper floor. Li Fan immediately got off the elevator as if there were some germs in the elevator. Brotherly. Give me a hand, women are troublesome. Damn, this Taoist is a man. Tomboys are troublesome. I'll fight you, Yen Kai covered his wound. He was so angry that his stomach was twitching. Li Fan walked over, helped him up, and walked outside. Yen Kai thought, although this guy has a bad mouth, he has a good heart. I'm just giving you a hand. You're not allowed to have any improper thoughts.
The 2 of them fled all the way to the entrance of the parking lot. But the originally open door suddenly closed with a crash. They've found out that we've escaped. Li Fan looked around and found that the parking lot was getting quieter. He could not help but frown. Brotherly, are you afraid of death? Yen Kai suddenly asked. Of course I am. Li Fan smiled, I don't want to die here. The feng shui here is too bad. Then you go. Leave this place to me. Yen Kai glanced at the car next to him, you go and hide under that car. They won't be able to find you. I have blood on me. I can't hide. Fart. Li Fan stared at him, even if you're gay, I'll take you out alive. Damn, this Taoist is not gay. Fine, I'll pretend you're not gay. While the 2 of them were bickering, more than a dozen embroidered uniform guards had already surrounded them. Chapter 2:12. Among the dozen embroidered uniform guards, there was a squad commander, and a Baihu. They had seen this Baihu before. He was the one who mocked Yen Kai earlier. The 2 of you are indeed traitors. The Baihu placed his hands on his waist and looked at Li Fan and Yen Kai with disdain. I knew the 2 of you were up to no good. I don't know what you did to the commander, but he actually died. But with just the 2 of you squad commanders, do you think you can go against the heavens? He looked at Yen Kai. Yen Kai, a few years ago, you were indeed very powerful. But now, you are just a stray dog. Just a stray dog and you still want to ascend to the heavens. Look at you now. You can't even keep your intestines. So ugly. Who do you think you are? How dare you lecture me? Yen Kai looked at this arrogant Baihu and noticed that his legs were strong. It was obvious that he was an expert in leg training. You don't even know my name. How ignorant. The Baihu sneered. But you are only at this level. Let me tell you, my surname is Xiang, and my name is Chong. Xiang Chong. Yen Kai muttered. You are from the Xiang family. That's right. I am the descendant of the Xiang family's King Kong legs. Xiang Chong said proudly. There are 3 types of King Kong legs now. Our Xiang family has the best one. When it came to me, I have already trained it into mighty King Kong legs. As he said that, he lifted his leg and kicked. The air was torn apart by this kick. He turned around and kicked the car next to him. This black Honda slid out from the kick. There was a deep footprint on the car door. Which one of you can withstand my kick? Yen Kai, can you? You are basically a half-dead person now. You rest here. Li Fan helped Yen Kai to the side of the car. He took 2 steps forward and hooked his finger at Xiang Chong. Leave this to me. Who do you think you are? Xiang Chong scolded. Li Fan slowly took off his mask. My name is Li Fan, and I'm the one who can help you become a Qianhu. When he took off his mask, Xiang Chong's body trembled, and then his eyes were filled with excitement. Good. Good. This is really a case of wearing out iron shoes in fruitless searching, only to find it by chance without even looking for it. Xiang Chong laughed heartily. I'll destroy you right now and make you a stepping stone on my road to success. As he spoke, he suddenly jumped up and spun in the air, sweeping his leg towards Li Fan's face. Li Fan took a step back and kicked the pillar beside him. Bang! A large piece of the pillar was immediately smashed by the kick, and Xiang Chong kicked it again. Li Fan raised his palm, and his leg was blocked by Li Fan's hand. What? Xiang Chong was taken aback. The power of his kick was enough to shatter gold and break jade, but it was actually blocked by this brat's palm. So funny. Li Fan smiled. With your mediocre martial arts, you're not even as good as Li Wenjue, and you still want to be promoted to Qianhu? Bullshit. Who said I am not as good as Li Wenjue? I am Xiang Chong, the descendant of the Xiang clan, an expert of great strength King Kong leg. Xiang Chong roared, then twisted his body and continuously kicked towards Li Fan. Li Fan moved his body to the side and dodged Xiang Chong's continuous kicks. At the same time, he kicked Xiang Chong's waist, sending him flying and crashing into a car behind him. You think you're worthy of being called Great Strength King Kong leg? Li Fan pointed his finger at the ground. You're more like an old lady with a bowed leg. You dare to insult me? Xiang Chong crawled up, his eyes flashing with anger. No one has ever dared to insult me like this. I am Xiang Chong, Xiang Baihu. And a man destined to be a commander. Come. Li Fan hooked his finger at Xiang Chong, then let's fight again. My condition today might not be too good. Xiang Chong coughed twice. Wait until my condition is better, then let's fight again. Good condition your mother. Li Fan took the initiative to attack Xiang Chong. Xiang Chong used great strength King Kong leg, preparing to block Li Fan's attack. But Li Fan's white crane nod was faster and directly hit Xiang Chong's chest. Bang! Xiang Chong's body heavily smashed into the ground, causing it to crack. Father Bear Pile Driver. Li Fan grabbed Xiang Chong's body with one hand and ruthlessly smashed him into the ground again. Bang! 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 After smashing 3 times in a row, Xiang Chong spat out a mouthful of blood and completely fainted. With this, you can also become a Baihu of the Genie Guards. Li Fan ridiculed, let's go back and learn the minor phaseless divine technique first. Seeing Xiang Chong and Baihu lying on the ground, the surrounding Genie Guards couldn't help but take a few steps back, somewhat afraid of Li Fan's prestige. This Li Fan is so fierce, no wonder his name is on the blacklist, he really has some strength. If you guys don't make a move, then I will leave. As Li Fan spoke, he turned around and used a white deer reverse kick on the iron door that was closed. Dang! Li Fan's right leg was shocked numb, but the iron door didn't move at all. Damn, this door is at least 20 centimeters thick. Li Fan rubbed his sore calf and complained, "Do you have to be so fierce? We may not be able to escape." Yan Kai bitterly smiled, "I forgot to mention the thickness of this door. A normal person will never be able to break through it." "That's hard to say." Li Fan was about to make a move, but he suddenly felt a chill behind him and quickly stepped to the side. Shwa! A saber aura cut the iron door in half, falling to the ground. Li Fan and Yan Kai's expression became serious. The genie guards also separated to the side, and a woman slowly walked over. She wore a black shirt, black pants, and a black waistcoat with golden embroidery. This woman is as beautiful as a painting, but unfortunately, she is blind in one eye, wearing a black eye patch, hiding infinite murderous intent. She was holding a black saber in her hand. The iron door was slashed open by this saber. Li Fan's forehead is covered with cold sweat. This woman's saber technique is a bit too powerful. No wonder even Muronging warned me to be careful of this woman. Is there anything that this saber can't cut? Jianghu is too heartless, a saber that breaks the soul. Yan Kai bitterly smiled. I didn't expect that I, Yan Kai, will die in the hands of this heartless saber today. Fine, it's not a loss, it's a worthy death. Fuck, say something lucky. Li Fan is not happy. I think I am blessed and will certainly not die. When he said this, Yushi has already walked in front of him. Li Fan looked at the girl in front of him and said, "Can you talk to me, big sister, are you mute?" "I never talk to the dead." Yushi finally spoke, her voice is quite pleasant to hear. Chapter 213. Interesting question. Li Fan laughed, "How do you know I'm dead?" "I saw the aura of death." Yushi's words were simple and concise. "Oh, so it's a Chinibu." Li Fan sighed, "No wonder you don't like to talk. Do you think you're cool, the #1 assassin in the world?" "The #1 assassin in the world is not me." Yushi said very seriously, "I am the Imperial Secret Service, Heartless Saber." With that, Yushi twirled her saber. "If you have something to say, go talk to the King of Hell." King of Hell? I think you're a female King of Hell. As Li Fan dodged Yushi's saber in a sorry state, he didn't forget to ridicule her. "You're a little girl, fighting and killing every day, yet you're still so Chinibu. Will you be able to find a boyfriend in the future?" Although Yushi's saber was very fast, it was basically invisible. But Li Fan was an exception. As long as Li Fan circulated his true chi, all of the opponent's attacks would be slowed down. After Yushi attacked twice, she realized that she couldn't cut Li Fan, causing her eyebrows to frown slightly. Obviously, this was the first time she encountered such a situation. Her saber had never missed before, but on this man called Li Fan, it was ineffective again and again. Could it be that this man has some kind of magical power? "Look at you, so fierce, and you like to play with sabers and swords, you'll be hated by men." Li Fan was still teasing Yushi. Yushi frowned, suddenly sheathed her saber, and then half-squatted, her right hand holding the saber hilt, her eyes locked onto Li Fan. This move was called katana in Japan. Actually, it was just a drawing technique, and for a saber user, it was a compulsory course. Yushi used the true chi that burst out when she drew her saber to tear the air, forming an invisible blade. Furthermore, the speed of this move was so fast that ordinary people couldn't see it with their naked eyes. Including Li Fan, the moment Yushi drew her saber, he could only see the air in front of him distort. "Brotherly, be careful." Yan Kai issued a warning, but Li Fan had already sensed the danger. His body suddenly fell to the ground. Whoosh! Li Fan felt his scalp go numb. About 30 centimeters above the ground, everything was cut in half. The edge of the knife was smooth and tidy, without the slightest bit of roughness. This kind of saber technique was really superb. If Li Fan hadn't dodged in time, his body might have been cut in half. How terrifying! Li Fan was speechless. This woman was simply a ghost who wanted to take his life. You are very lucky. Yushi actually felt a little emotional. Cockroach life. Before I become #1 in the world, I will not die like this. As Li Fan spoke, his body suddenly bounced off the ground, and like a black toad crossing the water, he almost instantly appeared under Yushi. Yushi remained calm as she stabbed the black saber into the ground. Golden toad spitting pearl. However, Li Fan's body suddenly stopped, and then both of his hands gathered the true chi in his body, and suddenly pushed out from his palms. A large ball of true chi burst out, condensing into a ball, and hit Yushi's saber. And when Li Fan received the power of the true chi, his body also overcame the inertia, and abruptly stopped. Clang! The black saber that had never failed was actually bounced off by Li Fan's ball of true chi. Yushi was a little surprised, but Li Fan had already followed her like a shadow, directly sticking close to her. There was only one thought in Li Fan's mind at this time: to deal with Yushi, he would use the move that Muronging taught him. There was no other way. Yushi controlled the long saber, preparing to repel Li Fan. But Li Fan's hands grabbed Yushi's wrist like a deer lock, forcibly locking her attack. Although Yushi was experienced and strong, she obviously did not expect Li Fan to have so many strange moves, and was temporarily controlled. Although he could only control her for a second, it was enough for Li Fan. Yushi was about to use her true chi to shake off Li Fan, but Li Fan had already sealed her mouth. This super expert of the Brocade Clan Guard, the heartless saber of the Black Guard, was actually kissed. The surrounding Brocade Clan Guards were all shocked. Was that Li Fan crazy? Was he going to die as a playboy? I don't know why, but I suddenly envy him. What was the saying again? Dying under a peony flower, becoming a ghost would also be romantic. That was probably the feeling. This was also the first time Yushi felt so shocked. In the past, she had never been so scared when she was stabbed 7 times by a sword master and was on the verge of death. Her body was trembling slightly. She, the dignified heartless saber, was actually kissed by someone. But Li Fan felt that this girl's lips were quite soft. Don't be fooled by her cold appearance, her body is actually very honest. At the same time, a trickle of true chi flowed out of Yushi's body, through her lips and tongue, into Li Fan's mouth, and then into his meridians again. Li Fan couldn't describe the feeling. This was the second time he had sucked other people's true chi from his mouth. The first time was with Muronging, but that time was too fast. Before Li Fan could react, he had already been pushed away by Muronging. This time, Li Fan really felt the effect of the pure young body. He felt as if he was sucking some kind of sweet dew from Yushi's body. It was an addictive feeling. After kissing for about 2 seconds, Yushi finally pushed Li Fan away. At the same time, her face was pale and her footsteps were weak. It was obvious that Li Fan's pure young body had sucked away a lot of her true chi. The effect of the pure young body was much better than the dragon toad absorption of water, especially without any waste or side effects. Li Fan estimated that in these 2 short seconds, he had absorbed 30% of Yushi's power. Yushi had about the strength of 6 dragons, and Li Fan had sucked away 1 dragon's strength. She also cultivated the small phaseless divine art. After being sucked away by Li Fan, his strength had increased by leaps and bounds. However, this power also needed to be refined by Li Fan, otherwise it would be difficult to use it in a short time. Let's run. This move was indeed very effective on Yushi. It had both physical and psychological effects. After he settled Yushi, he didn't care about anything else. He directly picked up Yan Kai and rushed out of the door that Yu Shi had opened. After rushing out of the door, Li Fan was surprised to find that they were still in the parking lot of the shopping mall. It was just that their location was one floor below the parking lot, and after going up, they were back at the shopping mall. I really didn't expect this, Yan Kai smiled bitterly. Who would have thought that this is the branch? Don't think about this, I'll bring you to heal your injuries. Chapter 2:14. So, this is the reason why you brought a wild man home. Muronging crossed her arms, looked at Li Fan, and slightly raised her eyebrows. That sounds too strange. Li Fan looked at Yan Kai, who was unconscious on the sofa. And no matter what, he saved me once. I owe him a favor. You're already in debt. I'm afraid you're going to be on the blacklist of the Genie Guard, and you still have the leisure to care about others. You're wrong, after all, I've been on the blacklist for a long time. Li Fan chuckled, which made Muronging roll her eyes. Forget it, anyway, do what you want. This Wudang disciple was shot, the opponent's marksmanship is superb, and several of his intestines were broken. Don't you have some ancestral injury medicine? Li Fan quickly asked, how about applying some to him? That's injury medicine, not the elixir of immortality. Muronging was angry, his intestines are broken, what's the use of looking for me, quickly send him to the hospital. If not for his strong internal energy, I'm afraid he's already dead. Miss, he has a high fever, it's terrible. Tai Zhu touched Yan Kai's forehead, turned his head, and said, quickly send him to the hospital. Li Fan also knew the situation was dangerous, there was a disease, it was better to see a doctor. For this kind of injury, we must find a Western surgeon and arrange an immediate operation. Tai Zhu, send a car to send him. Okay. Tai Zhu immediately went out to start the car. Li Fan sent Yan Kai to the car, originally wanted to go to the hospital, but he received a phone call. Benefactor. I have something to do here. The phone call was from Guan Wenbao, using Huang Lei's mobile phone. After all, although Guan Wenbao lived in the 21st century, he did not even use a mobile phone, maintaining the style of the ancient people. What's the matter? Someone asked me to throw darts. Guan Wenbao's voice was a little low and he was a little surprised. She asked me to help her deliver the goods. Isn't your Guan family escort agency closed? Yes, Guan Wenbao continued, but this person seems to know my father and wants to entrust us with this task. Benefactor, what do you think we should do? Since there's business knocking on my door, I naturally have to accept it. Li Fan chuckled. Anyway, I'm going to reorganize the escort agency sooner or later. Now is the time. Where are you? I'll go find you now. In the billiard hall. Alright, wait for me. I'll be right there. Li Fan said goodbye to Muronging and went to the billiard hall. You just got home, and you're leaving already? Muronging suddenly asked. Yeah, I have something to deal with. Li Fan nodded. Dinner has been prepared at home, Muronging said awkwardly. Tai Zhu made it. She's good at cooking, I can only eat it next time. You can enjoy it by yourself first. When I'm done with this matter, I'll come back and have dinner with you. Who wants you to have dinner with me? It's not like I can't eat by myself. Muronging turned her head and looked at the painting hanging on the wall. I just feel that Tai Zhu made a little too much. It's a waste for me to eat by myself, my wife is so thrifty. You're really an expert housekeeper. Li Fan cupped his hands. Since you don't need me to accompany you, I'll take my leave. With that, he left the house, looking travel-worn. Damn it, Muronging looked in the direction where Li Fan had left and stomped her foot fiercely, seemingly very dissatisfied. But after standing at the door for a long time, she sighed and returned to the dining room. Looking at the table full of delicacies, she seemed to have lost her appetite. At this moment, Li Fan was not in the mood to take care of his fiancée's appetite. Someone had come to ask Guan Wenbao to escort the goods. He did not know if it was a blessing or a curse. This matter concerned Li Fan's future development, so he had to figure it out. The billiard hall was closed early. Guan Wenbao and Huang Lei were sitting inside. Even Little Four Eyes, by Lin Luo, was called over by Li Fan. Seeing Bai Lin Luo sitting there nervously, Li Fan could not help but ask. "What's the matter, Little Four Eyes? Are you nervous after hearing that someone is here to escort the goods?" "No," Bai Lin Luo shook his head. "I'm not nervous about escorting the goods. I skipped cram school to come here, so I'm a little nervous. Advisor, don't be afraid." Huang Lei slapped his thigh and comforted him. "It's just skipping cram school. It's not a big deal. Look at me. I dropped out of school years ago, but I'm still doing well now." Bai Lin Luo pondered for a moment and asked, "Is it too late if I go back to cram school now?" "Fuck, advisor, are you looking down on me?" "No." Bai Lin Luo pushed his glasses and said seriously, "It's the world that looks down on you." "Fuck, alright, stop fooling around." Li Fan interrupted them and turned to look at Guan Wenbao. "Old Guan, why don't you tell us what's going on?" Everyone quietened down and looked at Guan Wenbao without making a fuss. "She contacted us through a special method of the Guan family," Guan Wenbao said. "Special method? What is it?" Huang Lei could not help but be curious. "Tell me about it." "Messenger pigeons." Guan Wenbao said, "Back then, my father sent out a few homing pigeons. Only the people closest to him would have these homing pigeons. At critical moments, they can find us through these carrier pigeons." "Hey, antique, can't you find a more modern method?" When Huang Lei heard this, he couldn't help but roll his eyes. "What era is this?" "It's the 21st century, okay? It's an era of information explosion. How can you still use messenger pigeons? Are you playing a spy game with me?" "But I can't use modern things." Guan Wenbao shook his head. "I don't know which pager to use. Chinese characters or numbers? I don't know." "Fuck. That's from the last era. Old Master Guan." Huang Lei was freaking out. He took out his Xiaomi and slapped it on the table. "Now everyone uses this, okay? Oh my god. That's..." Guan Wenbao covered his mouth and looked at the phone. His eyes flashed with surprise. "Are pager machines now so thin?" "Lei, is this Chinese characters or numbers?" "Fuck you." Huang Lei almost freaked out. "It's a phone." "Is it good?" "Phone? What do you mean?" Well, when Huang Lei was about to explain, his phone suddenly vibrated on the table. The look in Guan Wenbao's eyes suddenly became focused and a little more frightened. He subconsciously took a few steps back. "Lei. You have such a hobby, fuck you. Why do you know the word vibrate so well?" "Stop it." Li Fan scolded, "Old Guan, get yourself a phone too." "Alright, Old Guan, go on." Chapter 215. Li Fan didn't care what Huang Lei's mobile phone could do. He didn't care about these issues. The future of the escort agency was the key to his thinking. "The other party asked me to meet at Shangdao Cafe tomorrow," Guan Wenbao said. "They said they wanted to talk about it in detail." "It's good to talk about it." Li Fan nodded. "It's time to settle the matter of our escort agency. Old Guan, do you think the four of us can form an escort agency? It's not a big problem. Guan Wenbao thought for a moment and then said, we can send some small escorts first. You and I can be the escorts. We're not famous, so we can keep a low profile. Modern escort was not like ancient times, where the more people, the better. In modern times, the fewer people, the better. The military counselor will be in charge of giving advice and suggestions. As for Lei Zi, he can be an escort and help us gather more information and find out more details. Fuck, I can only be a sentry. Huang Lei was very dissatisfied. No way. I'm going to be the boss of City A. In the future, except for my big brother, everyone will have to call me Master Lei. If I'm an escort, how can I show my face in the future? Put it in your trouser pocket. Li Fan stared at Huang Lei. I asked you to practice ape attack. How's it going? Well, big brother, I'm really not cut out for martial arts. Huang Lei smiled apologetically. If you ask me to play King of Fighters or Street Fighter, I promise it won't be a problem. Idiot. Li Fan was speechless. In the future, when we meet an enemy, you'll tell him to go to the game hall and have a showdown with his saber? But it's too hard to practice. Huang Lei complained incessantly and turned to ask Guan Wenbao. Old Guan, is there any way to become an expert in a short time? There is a way. Guan Wenbao thought for a moment and suddenly nodded. Really? Huang Lei became excited when he heard this. It would be great if he could become an expert in a short period of time. In this world, who else could be his opponent in the future? Of course, Big Brother was an exception. Big Brother must be able to bully him. Do you really want to know? Of course, tell me quickly. Go daydream. Guan Wenbao answered this question very seriously, which made Huang Lei extremely speechless. Oh my god. When did Master Guan become so naughty? Huang Lei said angrily. Is it really that difficult to become a master in a short period of time? Training is like rowing a boat against the current. If you don't advance, you will fall behind. What you need is patience and time. Li Fan patted Huang Lei's shoulder. Remember not to be greedy and rash. It's impossible to achieve quick results. Then how did you train, big brother? Well, I guess I was lucky. Huang Lei's words made Li Fan speechless. This guy really knows how to pick the right person to ask. I must be one in a million. I want to be lucky too. Good luck. Huang Lei wanted to cry but had no tears. We can talk about that later. Let's get back to the escort agency. Li Fan had to control the direction of the meeting, so they got back to the topic. My savior, I have thought about it. The Guan clan's escort agency has fallen a long time ago. I can't do it alone. Since you want to set up an escort agency, Guan Wenbao, will work as an escort for you wholeheartedly from now on. As long as I am alive, my bodyguards are still alive. Thank you, old Guan. Li Fan was quite moved in his heart. Guan Wenbao was definitely worth his ransom. I can do it too. Huang Lei raised his hand high. My lowly life is willing to lead the way for you, big brother. Till death do us part. Not bad. You even know a few idioms. Li Fan nodded as if he was praising him. Hee, of course. How can I embarrass big brother? Huang Lei chuckled. Don't worry, big brother. Even if I'm an escort, I promise I'll do my job well. I won't say anything else. I'll always be by your side. Little Four said with a smile, making Li Fan feel at ease. Looking at these three people of different ages and statuses who were so loyal to him, Li Fan sighed in his heart. This kind of friendship, this kind of life, was something he didn't even dare to imagine in the past. He was no longer an ordinary high school student. Alright, since you're all so open-minded, I can't be careless either. Li Fan made a decision and said, our escort agency will be open in the future. Everyone will be my, Li Fan's, brothers from now on. From now on, we'll share blessings and difficulties. You're treating me like an outsider. Little Four quickly changed the topic. He couldn't stand being too emotional. We should at least think of a name for the agency, right? How about Dragon Gate Escort Agency? Huang Lei quickly asked. Fuck off. I want a name that belongs to us. Li Fan slapped Huang Lei's head and asked Guan Wenbao, Old Guan, you're experienced in this. What do you think we should call it? Benefactor, your fist technique is called the Seven Heroes Fist. Why don't we call it the Seven Heroes Escort Agency? No. That's the name of my sect. Li Fan smiled proudly. I plan to build a sect in the future. It'll be called the Seven Heroes Sect. That's why we need another name. Big brother, if you build a sect, I want to be the eldest disciple. Huang Lei quickly raised his hand and introduced himself excitedly. Fuck off. Eldest disciple. Other than the size of your dick, which part of you is big? Big brother, you can't keep saying this. Huang Lei was in tears. Every time you mention it, I don't know if I should be happy or sad. You're talented. What's there to be sad about? Li Fan touched his chin and thought for a while. I've already thought of a job for you. I guarantee you'll make money. What job, big brother? Isn't it very eye-catching? It's quite eye-catching. Li Fan chuckled. You'll be a gigolo. Although you're a little old, you're a late bloomer. I guarantee your business will be great. You'll be so busy that you don't even have time to wear pants. Huang Lei was speechless for the first time. Why don't we call it extraordinary? Little Four Eyes gave his final opinion. It's a pun. What do you think? Not bad. Extraordinary. Extraordinary. I think it's extraordinary. Very good. As long as you're satisfied. Bai Linluo's eyes narrowed into slits. Fuck, if I knew this would happen, I should have finished middle school, Huang Lei mumbled to himself. Also, we shouldn't call it an escort agency. That's too old-fashioned. Li Fan waved his hand. Since we're establishing an escort agency, we should have a new generation's image. I've decided. We'll call it Extraordinary Express. Chapter 216. Phenomenal Express Delivery. Yin Xiaoru frowned as she looked at the three young men sitting in front of her. I'm looking for the Guan Family Security Agency, not Phenomenal Express Delivery. Besides, I'm not a courier. You've got the wrong person. Yin Xiaoru was about to stand up and leave. However, Li Fan smiled and added. My friend, since you're looking for the Guan Family Security Agency, you've got the right person. The one sitting next to me is the only heir of the Guan Family Security Agency, Guan Wenbao. Yin Xiaoru stopped in her tracks and looked back at Guan Wenbao. His face was flushed and he had thick eyebrows and big eyes. He did look like a member of the Guan family. She had arranged to meet him today to escort the escort. However, things seemed to have gone beyond her expectations. What the hell was Phenomenal Express Delivery? If you're looking for an escort, you've got the right person. Li Fan tried his best to recommend himself. My martial arts skills are about the same as this man's. Plus, Phenomenal Express has a good reputation. If they ask us to escort the goods, we won't alert the wrong people and leak the wrong information. No, I don't trust you. Yin Xiaoru said bluntly. Miss Yin, if you had any other choice, why didn't you choose one of those famous escort agencies? Why did you choose the Guan family's escort agency, which has been in decline for God knows how long and has long vanished from the Jianghu? Li Fan gave him a look. Little Four, who had been quietly listening to music, took off his headphones, adjusted his glasses, and said to Yin Xiaoru. If I'm not wrong, Miss Yin, you can't find another escort agency, right? Then let me guess, what's the reason why you didn't look for other big escort agencies? Either there's a problem with the item you want to escort, or there's a problem with your identity. Regardless, you have no choice but to choose us, am I right? Yin Xiaoru was speechless for a long time. This little Four Eyes was so cunning. His worries had all been divined by him. Miss Yin, you don't have to worry too much. Li Fan fiddled with his fingers and said calmly, with Guan Wenbao around, whatever the Guan family has, Fifan Express will have. This time, we will definitely complete the task for you. Furthermore, we will not leak this mission to any party. As for the price, the market price is fine. We won't ask for a single cent more. If the mission fails, you can have my head. What do you think of these conditions? Tisk, what's the use of your head? Yin Xiaoru curled her lips. Useless chips. Then what do you want? Yin Xiaoru glanced at the three of them. If the mission fails, I want all three of you to be my subordinates. Sure, but there's more than three of us. There's still one more. Can we count them together? Li Fan asked with a smile. Yin Xiaoru looked them up and down. She looked at the awe-inspiring Li Fan, the tall and mighty Guan Wenbao, and the scheming little Four Eyes. She thought to herself that the other person was probably an expert who was not inferior to them. Okay. That's great. But where's the fourth person? Yin Xiaoru looked left and right. Li Fan clapped his hands. Look, he's coming. Yin Xiaoru turned around and saw a man wearing a checkered shirt, dirty jeans, and a pair of black canvas shoes walking over. That man walked while holding his buttocks. His face was filled with pain. Damn, big brother, if I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have eaten so much hot pot in the morning. The spicy soup almost made my buttocks explode. Yin Xiaoru's heart trembled. This is the fourth person. If you can't eat spicy food, then don't eat so much. Li Fan complained, you have no self-control at all. In theory, diarrhea won't make your anus explode. Little Four Eyes pushed his glasses up and said seriously, but anal prolapse is a possibility. If you don't control your diet, you'll have to quit this mission. Hey, don't, masters. I was wrong, okay. Huang Lei said hurriedly, this meal is on me. Damn, look at this curry. It's so spicy. Yin Xiaoru vomited. Fuck off. Don't you know how to talk? Sit down if you don't. Li Fan shouted angrily, look, our distinguished client, Miss Yin, is so angry that she vomited. Yin Xiaoru retched and thought, I'm so disgusted that I'm going to vomit. Guan Wenbao didn't say anything. He took out a box of diarrhea and pushed it in front of Huang Lei. Old Guan cares about me. Huang Lei took 2 pills. But why do you have this stuff? I've been traveling in this world for a long time. Of course, I have prepared some medicine. Guan Wenbao said calmly, I have Yuding. Do you want to? Fuck off. You're a pervert. You're discrediting the Guan family. You misunderstood me. I just like to prepare a little of every kind of medicine. Guan Wenbao could be said to be a mobile medicine jar. The pouch wrapped around his waist was filled with all kinds of pills. Hey, old Guan, do you have Viagra? Li Fan looked at Guan Wenbao with a smirk. What's that? Theoretically, it's Viagra. It's used to boost one's sex drive. Bai Lin Luo explained. Oh, I don't have any. Guan Wenbao shook his head and took out a black thing from his pocket. But I have an old dog's penis. It's quite effective. Would you like to try it, benefactor? Forget it. Put that thing away, yes, benefactor. You guys, Yin Xiaoru looked at the four people who suddenly changed their demeanor. Her face was covered in cold sweat. I think I should go to another escort agency, Miss Yin. Fictional Express delivery is your best and only choice. Li Fan said, if you're worried, you can choose to escort with us. That's fine, but I still don't trust you guys. Yin Xiaoru rolled her eyes. I want to test your strength first. Ha! What a joke. Huang Lei looked at Yin Xiaoru disdainfully. Who do you think my brother is? He's so powerful. My brother usually keeps a low profile, but his true qi is very powerful. Oh. How powerful is he? My brother can shoot down a plane with his pants down. Fuck off. Li Fan kicked Huang Lei under the table. Can't this guy shut his mouth? Enough. I don't want to listen to you guys anymore. That's enough. Yin Xiaoru rubbed her temples. If you want me to escort with you, you have to pass my test first. Chapter 217. Test. What kind of test? Huang Lei was a little unhappy. Why are you so nosy? Our Fictional Express will definitely have a bright future. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that we're the best escort agency in the world. It's your honor to be able to run escort for you. You still have nothing to do. Are you not putting us in your eyes? Who's your big brother? Let's talk about it. Lei, shut up. Li Fan glared at him. This guy, what the hell was he doing using the tricks of the society? Miss Yin, please tell us what you want us to test you. Li Fan's expression was indifferent. Other than not plucking the stars and the moon, tell us what you want and we'll accept it. Li Fan was very confident. Since he dared to open this escort agency, he naturally wouldn't be afraid of any form of challenge. It's very simple. Yin Xiaoru took out her wallet and placed it on the table. This is my wallet. The four of you will take it. As long as you can bring it out of this mall without anyone stealing it, you'll be considered qualified. How about that? Isn't that easy? Huang Lei laughed heartily. I, Huang Banxian, am not good at many things in my life, but I'm good at safety. All these years, I've never lost my wallet. Big brother, you don't have to do this. Let me bring it out. All right. Unexpectedly, Li Fan really agreed. He took the wallet and stuffed it into Huang Lei's pocket. Walk outside. The three of us will protect you. All right, big brother. Leave it to me. Huang Lei rolled up his sleeves and looked very confident. Damn it, how can we, the great Fictional Express, be looked down upon by a little girl? Today, I'll let her see what an iron trouser pocket is. With that, Huang Lei stood up and walked out. Guan Wenbao and Li Fan also stood up and followed him out. Little Four continued to sit in the dining room calmly and continued to drink his fruit juice. Aren't you coming? Yin Xiaoru looked at Little Four in confusion. I'm in charge of the overall situation here. Little Four winked at Yin Xiaoru, causing her to roll her eyes. Then I'm leaving too. Enjoy your drink. Yin Xiaoru stood up and left the restaurant. However, she didn't know that Little Four had purposely chosen this restaurant because he could see half of the shopping mall from the side window. He put on his headphones and connected to the channel set by the four of them. Military counselor, what the hell is wrong with your brain? It's a little too godly. As Huang Lei walked down the escalator, he spoke into the walkie-talkie. How do you know that this girl will definitely test us? How normal. Little Four Eyes said calmly as he drank his juice, I've said it before, there's definitely something wrong with her or her item. She's definitely looking for a small, unknown escort agency like ours to test our abilities. I took a look just now. This woman's middle finger and index finger are slightly longer. It's obvious that she has practiced some kind of martial arts. You guys have to be careful, especially Lei Zi. Don't worry, I don't care which shop she's from. She won't be able to do anything to me. Huang Lei said confidently, when I was in the underworld, I've seen some godly thieves. I know what they're capable of. Then what if you lose your item? Li Fan, who was standing beside Huang Lei, asked with a smile. If I lose my item, I'll pull my head off for you to kick as a ball. Huang Lei made a military pledge. We're about to go out. That girl is really bored. Finding such a simple task, isn't she looking down on us brothers? Just when Huang Lei was about to leave the shopping mall, he bumped into a skinny boy. Sorry. The boy lowered his head and turned around to leave. Huang Lei touched his pocket and found his wallet was still inside. Damn, I thought it was a thief. It was a false alarm. But Guan Wenbao grabbed the boy's arm. Stop. Don't run. What are you doing? The boy seemed to be afraid as he looked at Guan Wenbao in horror. Don't think I can't see it. I've smelled your scent. Guan Wenbao seemed to have a dog's nose. Miss Yin, let's end the show here. Not bad, you found me. A familiar woman's voice came out from the boy's mouth, but it's too late. With that, he suddenly took out a stack of banknotes from his pocket and threw them into the air. The shopping mall is throwing money. Everyone grab it. Yin Xiaoru shouted. When the surrounding customers saw the banknotes on the ground and heard that it was from the shopping mall, they immediately rushed over. Throwing money tactic. This trick was indeed powerful. Those customers, regardless of anything, crazily grabbed the money. Soon, Li Fan and the others were squeezed into a group. Although Guan Wenbao has kung fu, being squeezed by so many people, he couldn't keep his calm. After he stabilized his body, he found out that Yin Xiaoru had already left. Oh no! Guan Wenbao exclaimed, but Yin Xiaoru's figure was nowhere to be seen. It's okay, the wallet is still here. Huang Lei squeezed out of the crowd and walked to the entrance of the shopping mall. He took out the wallet from his pocket. But it was not a wallet at all. It was a cardboard case. It was unknown when it was stuffed into Huang Lei's pocket. What's the situation? Huang Lei was shocked. Why did you change it? When I bumped into you just now, I changed it for you. Li Fan said casually, this Miss Yin's technique is very good. You're not her opponent. Oh my god, is this business ruined in my hands? Huang Lei cried, brother, this is all my fault. I was too arrogant and thought that I could settle this matter. It's okay. Li Fan comforted Huang Lei, you did well. Ah. Huang Lei was dumbfounded. Did his brother not do business that he even spoke in a strange tone? Yin Xiaoru walked out angrily and said to Li Fan, you guys won. What's the situation? Before Huang Lei could react, Li Fan took out Yin Xiaoru's wallet from his pocket. Hey! Why is the wallet with you, brother? Huang Lei blinked his eyes. Li Fan said with a smile, I used the great sage picking star technique. The moment I put the wallet in your pocket, I had already swapped it. Fuck, big brother, you're really astute. No, it's planning ahead. Your intelligence is amazing. Li Fan rolled his eyes. What kind of metaphor is this? Miss Yin, did we pass this test? Li Fan asked. You cheated. Yin Xiaoru was somewhat unhappy. She seemed to be depressed about her failure. Chapter 218. The art of war is deceitful. Li Fan was not angry, and said slowly, if you don't use this method, there is another way to safely send things to the door. What way? To kill you on the spot. A black light flashed in Li Fan's eyes, sending chills down Yin Xiaoru's spine. Was this Li Fan good or evil? What do you think, Miss Yin? Can we talk about the cooperation again? Yin Xiaoru thought for a long time and finally nodded. Okay, it seems like it's fated. Since that's the case, let's talk somewhere else. Where's your escort agency? It's not far from here. Old Guan, drive Miss Yin, and we'll take a taxi back. Li Fan's heart was finally relieved. Yin Xiaoru was still wondering if it was a sports car that could only seat 2 people. When Guan Wenbao rode over on a Spring Breeze motorcycle, Yin Xiaoru had a headache. Your escort agency is really simple, that's right. Everything in our agency is simple now. Li Fan was also thick-skinned and directly admitted, I have to carry on the fine tradition of our ancestors and inherit the spirit of hardworking, thrifty, and simple. Yin Xiaoru was speechless, but she could only follow the host's wishes. She sat on the back seat of Guan Wenbao's motorcycle, but Guan Wenbao didn't start it. Let's go. What are you waiting for? Yin Xiaoru urged him. Miss Yin, you haven't put on a helmet. Guan Wenbao's words made Yin Xiaoru collapse. Gosh, is it serious? You have to obey the traffic rules. With that, Guan Wenbao took out a helmet from the side pocket and put it on carefully. Yin Xiaoru cursed in her heart. This man was too stubborn. If the motorcycle had a seatbelt, he would have tied her up. They were all martial artists, and she wouldn't die if she didn't wear a helmet. But Guan Wenbao didn't start the car, so she had no choice but to take out a yellow safety helmet from the bag next to her and put it on her head. Humph. My hair is all messed up now, Miss Yin, hold on tight. I'm on my way. My car has a lot of horsepower, so be careful. Yin Xiaoru held onto the seat tightly to prevent herself from being thrown off. Guan Wenbao finally started the car, but after driving for a distance, Yin Xiaoru broke out in a cold sweat. Can't you ride faster? The motorcycle cannot exceed 30 miles per hour. Guan Wenbao said anxiously, I'm already at the speed limit of 31. I'm over the speed limit, fuck your grandpa, 31 miles per hour wearing your sister's safety helmet. Yin Xiaoru couldn't help but curse. These are the rules. My father once told me that as an escort, I must follow the rules wherever I go. This is the basic rule of an escort. I'm really drunk. Yin Xiaoru felt like she was going to vomit blood. Why is everyone at Phenomenal Express acting like a psychopath? Was it really the right thing to ask them to do this mission? But Little Four Eyes' analysis was right. Other than them, she couldn't find anyone else. It would be really difficult for her to send this thing back. After thinking about it, this was the only way. Yin Xiaoru didn't want to make do, but she didn't have any other options. Moreover, this man named Li Fan seemed to have some real skills. After all, this man was the first one who could deceive her in terms of technique. Fictional Express was indeed not far from the mall, but when Yin Xiaoru arrived, she felt like crying. How could this place be called a company? Wasn't this a billiard hall? The signboard was new, Fictional Billiard Hall. For some reason, Yin Xiaoru felt like she had been tricked. Is this really an escort agency? Yin Xiaoru stared blankly at the huge signboard above her head and was speechless for a long time. Of course it's an escort agency. I guarantee it's real. Huang Lei had taken a taxi back, so he had arrived early and was waiting for them at the entrance. Old Guan, did you drive 30 miles per hour again? Huang Lei didn't forget to mock Guan Wenbao. If you're like this, you might as well change to an electric scooter or even a bicycle. You're like an old lady. Nonsense. Guan Wenbao's face was red with anger. I drove 31 miles per hour this time. Fuck, you drove 31 miles per hour. Huang Lei guffawed. I can run faster than you. Humph, you don't know Qinggong. Guan Wenbao didn't believe Li Fan's nonsense. You'll have to practice Qinggong for 10 years if you want to catch up to my beloved car. What are you so proud of? Believe it or not, I'll puncture your tires tonight. As soon as he finished speaking, Guan Wenbao took out his crescent blade from the car. I'll fight whoever dares to touch my car. All right, you two stop arguing. Li Fan felt that Guan Wenbao was the same as Yan Kai. Both of them were fetishes. However, it was understandable that Guan Wenbao cared about his motorcycle, but Yan Kai cared about his electric scooter, which was incomprehensible. He walked out, stopped the two guys who wanted to continue arguing, and said to Yin Xiaoru, Miss Yin, I'm sorry. Miss Yin, I'm sorry for making you laugh. Please. Yin Xiaoru could only sigh and follow Li Fan into the billiard hall. Miss Yin, you don't know, but our billiard hall's business is booming today. Huang Lei said to Yin Xiaoru. Usually, we make hundreds of thousands of yuan a day. Our business is booming. But today, in order to meet Miss Yin, our eldest brother tearfully closed the door early. We're going to lose a lot of money again. Looking at the 4 tables in the billiard hall, Yin Xiaoru wiped the cold sweat off her forehead. It would be a miracle if this place could make hundreds of thousands of yuan a day. Nonsense, how can there be hundreds of thousands of yuan a day? Li Fan glared at Huang Lei and said solemnly, Miss Yin, don't listen to his nonsense. Hundreds of thousands of yuan a day is pure nonsense. It's only 20 or 30,000, barely getting by, barely getting by. Li Fan's ability to lie through his teeth shocked Yin Xiaoru. Did I come to a black shop by mistake? Are the few of you escorts or not? Yin Xiaoru's heart was a little perturbed. I'm not an escort, I'm an escort. Huang Lei revealed his identity. I'm just a future ace escort. The two of us are escorts. Li Fan held Guan Wenbao's shoulder. I guarantee that your escorts will be delivered safely. Don't worry. All right. Since I've decided to use you guys, let's talk about our mission. Why don't you show us something first? Guan Wenbao was very cautious as he asked. I don't have it with me, but I can tell you what it is. Yin Xiaoru confidently said, it's a palm-sized golden Buddha. Chapter 219. Golden Buddha. Li Fan frowned slightly. He was even more certain when Yin Xiaoru handed him a photo. Flying cat, oh flying cat. I thought I would never see you again. I didn't expect you to send yourself to me. Li Fan muttered in his heart. It was useless to catch this flying cat now. Where are you sending it, Miss Yin? Li Fan did not mention this matter. He still asked about the escorting of the bodyguards. Not far. It's in the neighboring Flying Flower Town. Flying Flower Town. Li Fan knew this town. It was in B City, which was not far from a city. It took about 3 hours to drive there. It's so close. Can't you go there yourself? No. Yin Xiaoru shook her head. This thing of mine can't see the light. It's an antique. It can't pass the security check. If I drive myself, there will be people stopping me on the way. To tell you the truth, although my qigong is not bad, my martial arts is a bit lacking. Especially if I run around continuously, my stamina won't be able to keep up. So, I need someone to help me escort this time. This thing of yours must be very valuable, right? Li Fan calculated. An antique golden Buddha. You've made a fortune, Miss Yin. This is not for sale. Yin Xiaoru said indifferently, how about it? Can you deliver it? It's a day's journey. No problem. Li Fan did a rough calculation. But what about the payment? I'm very poor. Yin Xiaoru laughed. Li Fan also laughed. Miss Yin, you were very generous when you threw money in the mall just now. Hee, what I threw was fake money. Yin Xiaoru couldn't help but laugh. The potion on it only has an effect of 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, it will become ordinary paper. Li Fan wanted to scold her for being a thief. But considering that she was his business partner, he endured it. There was a saying that went, my client has abused me 1,000 times, but I treat my client like my first love. Then, Miss Yin, name your price. Li Fan decided to probe Miss Yin's background first. Yin Xiaoru stretched out 5 fingers. Huang Lei asked, 50,000. 500. Damn, are you kidding me? Li Fan couldn't take it anymore despite his good temper. 500 isn't even enough for a round trip, okay? I have such a big family to feed. Don't they need money to eat? Then I'll just add a point. Yin Xiaoru stretched out 6 fingers, 600 should be enough, right? Looks like we can't go through with this business. Let's all go home and find our own mothers. Li Fan sighed and shrugged his shoulders, indicating that they were disbanding. I'm already very sincere. Yin Xiaoru hurriedly said, you guys, don't be too greedy. We're greedy. Big sister, are you kidding me? Li Fan was speechless. No matter how small our escort agency is, we still have to risk our lives to escort the goods for you, right? As for you, you want to buy our lives with just $600. Sorry, our lives aren't that cheap. You should find another agency. Don't be so agitated. Yin Xiaoru saw that Li Fan was really angry and quickly said, then I'll add more money. Illegal goods, delivery distance 80 kilometers, expert, 2 million. Guan Wenbao saw Li Fan's gaze and knew what he meant. He immediately gave an official price. I don't have that much money, I'll give you a 10% discount for the new agency. Li Fan stretched out 1 finger. It can't be any less. If it's less than 200,000, we won't make this delivery. That's too much. Yin Xiaoru heard the price and looked a little unhappy. I really don't have that much money, then how much can you pay? Li Fan didn't say anything but asked tentatively. All my savings, a total of a little more than 50,000. Yin Xiaoru's face was slightly red. Although Li Fan didn't believe it. After all, such a famous robber only had such a small amount of savings, it was really unbelievable. But this time, he also wanted to open a ticket. It was not impossible for him to get a bigger discount. Then 50,000, not a penny less. This 50,000 was also distributed to his brothers. Li Fan didn't plan to keep it for himself. Let me think about it. Yin Xiaoru was a little distressed. After all, this 50,000 was all her savings. She planned to use it to buy delicious food. Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds to think about it. Now counting down, 5, 4. Okay, I agree. Yin Xiaoru's heart was bleeding. But for the sake of this escort, she still agreed. Okay. Then it's settled. I'll help you escort this Friday night. Why Friday? Yin Xiaoru asked curiously, can't I do it tomorrow? Of course not. Li Fan laughed. Why not? Is there anything more important than the mission? Of course, after all, I still have to take the exam. Li Fan looked down at the time of the weekly mock exam. Just in time, it's almost time. I should also go to the supplementary class. Li Fan and Liao Wushuang had set a time for the supplementary class. His current week's subject was English. If he strengthened it, it should not be a problem for him to pass the exam. What the? You're still a student. I'm a high school student. Li Fan sighed, I even asked for leave today. I missed a lot of classes. Miss Yin, you see how much we value you. Okay. Then I won't take up your time. What time do we meet on Friday? 5:00 in the afternoon. At the billiard hall. I'll also finish the exam by then. Li Fan clapped his hands, we'll also make an escort plan in these 2 days. Miss Yin, you can leave in advance and wait for us at Flying Flower Town. That won't do. I have to go with you. Yin Xiaoru said, otherwise, I won't feel at ease. Okay, then we just need to protect the things. Your life is not within the scope of our escort. I know. I'll protect myself. You don't need to worry about me. Yin Xiaoru gave Li Fan a, you're too stingy, look. Li Fan didn't mind. After all, this kind of thing had a clear price. Everyone should make it clear first to avoid disputes later. Miss Yin, I'll talk to you about the rest of the matter in detail. Bai Lin Luo secretly cursed in his heart. This motherfucker. He didn't let me go to the supplementary class, but he went to the supplementary class. If my grades fall behind, I definitely won't let him off. But the task was more important at the moment. Bai Lin Luo also let Li Fan be. He promised to assist Li Fan, so naturally, he was the leader. Li Fan said goodbye to them and jogged all the way to Liao Wushuang's house. It had to be said that although she was an ordinary teacher, Liao Wushuang's place was very good. In a prosperous area of a city, 360 building, a good single apartment. Chapter 220. Liao Wushuang's family should be quite well off. Otherwise, with a teacher's salary, she might not be able to afford such a high-class apartment. Li Fan had inquired about the price of this place. After all, he used to dream of living in such an apartment so that he wouldn't have to live under someone else's roof. No matter how good Murong Ying's bungalow was, it still belonged to Murong's family. It had nothing to do with him. 360 yuan for a high-class apartment, the monthly rent would be around 5,000 yuan. Buying it would cost at least 1,000,000 yuan. And Liao Wushuang's monthly salary was only around 4,000 yuan. If she relied on her salary to live in this apartment, not only would she have to spend all her salary, but she would also have to pay 1,000 yuan every month. There was also living expenses, such as food, transportation, clothes, and so on. A beauty like teacher Liao would definitely like to dress up. Just by dressing up, she would be able to earn money. Li Fan calculated in his heart. This teacher Liao's monthly expenses were at least 10,000 yuan. Of which, 2,000 yuan was for the car. This was because teacher Liao drove a BMW Z4 in and out of the school. Although it wasn't a particularly good sports car, it was still expensive for students like Li Fan. Maintaining a BMW would cost at least 2,000 yuan a month, right? After all, Li Fan didn't know much about cars, so he could only give a rough estimate. When Li Fan was about to go upstairs, he was stopped by the security guard. Without an ID card, one couldn't enter this high-class apartment. Remembering that Liao Wushuang seemed to have told him in advance, Li Fan quickly took out his phone and called Liao Wushuang. Teacher Liao, I'm already downstairs. Wait a moment, I'll go down and pick you up. In less than 5 minutes, a beautiful woman pushed open the security door and walked out. It seemed that because she was at home, Liao Wushuang was dressed very casually. He was wearing a white t-shirt and a pair of blue jeans. Her hair was tied up in a ponytail, and she was wearing pink slippers. Her delicate little toes were exposed, and she seemed to be a bit mischievous. Simple clothes looked different when worn by a beautiful woman with a good figure. The t-shirt was pushed up by Liao Wushuang's breasts, and it felt like it was about to burst. The jeans were also curvy, and the position of the perky buttocks seemed to be wrapped in 2 pieces of watermelon. Liao Wushuang's legs were clamped tightly together, and it was obvious that he was a virgin. I wonder who will be able to enjoy Teacher Liao's wonderful body in the future. Cough cough, what am I thinking? Is this the time to think about this? Li Fan, you are here to tutor me, not to do other things. Li Fan reminded himself and patted his face. Sorry to keep you waiting. Liao Wushuang tidied her bangs and revealed a guilty smile. Of course not. I just arrived too. Teacher Liao is the one who has to work hard. After school, he still has to give me supplementary lessons. Making up for lessons is one thing. The most important thing is to listen carefully in class. Liao Wushuang said as she led Li Fan inside. The administrator enviously looked at Li Fan, and then his eyes returned to Liao Wushuang's buttocks, watching her as she entered the elevator. You asked for leave again today, and this will delay the class. Liao Wushuang scolded Li Fan, if I say this to you, you might think that I am very annoying. No, teacher is right. Li Fan quickly responded, I am a person who lacks a sense of responsibility and is lazy. I need Teacher Liao to remind me. That's good, you are really a good and considerate child. Liao Wushuang smiled with relief, if you have a bit of ambition, it would be even better. Then your parents will be proud of you. My parents? They went to the Maldives to play. No, it's impossible for them to play in the Maldives for so long. I don't know where they are living now. But I just received a message a while ago that the 2 of them are living in a family hotel in Byzantium, enjoying the beautiful dusk scenery of the entire city. Damn, this kind of life was something that he could only dream of. Forget it. In any case, the 2 of them raised me, so I won't lose anything if they go out and have fun. Come in, the room is not big, please don't mind. After coming out of the elevator, the room directly opposite is Liao Wushuang's home. She took out the key, opened the room, and walked in with Li Fan. In his imagination, a woman's place should be quite messy. This is something that Li Fan has seen in a book. But this Liao Wushuang's room is very tidy. To be more precise, it is too clean. There is only a sofa and a coffee table in the living room. There is not even a TV hanging on the wall. It is hard to imagine this is a high-class apartment. What are you looking at? Liao Wushuang saw Li Fan looking around and could not help but ask. Teacher. Why is this a high-class apartment? It shouldn't feel like a house with only 4 walls. Li Fan could not help but ask. Oh, this place was quite gorgeous before, but I don't like it. Liao Wushuang said, so I asked them to remove all the furniture. It is clean like a home. But this is a bit too clean. Li Fan does not know how to ridicule. Living in such a high-class apartment, but using the most simple way to live. Liao Wushuang. Teacher Liao. Is she also a weirdo? Let's go through today's lesson first. Liao Wushuang used a hairpin to fix her bangs, then put the book on the coffee table and kneeled in front of Li Fan. Teacher Liao, you like to kneel. Seeing Liao Wushuang's habit, Li Fan is a bit surprised. Yeah, I have stayed abroad for a few years. Other than England, America, and Japan for a year. Liao Wushuang explained, I like to kneel, it is good for the body. Moreover, this is not the etiquette of Japan, it is passed down from China. Unfortunately, we modern people have lost this tradition. How should I say, we have lost too much. Only when I go abroad did I realize that many precious things in China can only be found abroad. Teacher Liao always speaks with all kinds of reason. Li Fan could not help but laugh, listening to Teacher Liao's words really benefited me a lot. Are you mocking teacher? How could that be? I respect teacher from the bottom of my heart. Li Fan quickly patted his chest and said, if you don't believe me, listen to my heart. How could I hear that? Liao Wushuang covered her mouth and chuckled, but, do you really respect me from the bottom of your heart? Of course, heaven and earth can bear witness. A man's mouth really can't be trusted. As Liao Wushuang spoke, she took out a letter from a book. I have the evidence of your trickery here. Chapter 221. Evidence of slyness. Li Fan froze for a moment. Then he looked at the envelope and vaguely felt that it was familiar. Wait. Why is it so familiar? I seem to have seen this envelope somewhere. This is a bit bad, Teacher Liao wouldn't think that I wrote this, right? Teacher Liao, you may have misunderstood. I understand, you young people have a beautiful heart, it's understandable, everyone has it. Liao Wushuang was not annoyed, instead, she said with a smile, moreover, your method is very healthy, I like it, it shows that you put your heart into it. Liao Wushuang said, opened the envelope, and took out the letter written in English, but there are some problems with the wording, I have to correct you, lest you make such a mistake in the future. But Teacher Liao. Liao Wushuang pressed a finger on Li Fan's lips, and then, with a red face, gently kissed him on the cheek. This is to thank you for saving me last time. Plus a return gift for your admiration. Liao Wushuang's kiss stunned Li Fan. What is this situation? Don't misunderstand, teacher has been in the West, this way is simply to express my gratitude. Liao Wushuang quickly explained with a red face, don't mention the love letter again. Although I want to have a good relationship with you, teacher and student are teacher and student, I don't agree with teacher and student love. Teacher, you have been studying in the West for so long, influenced by the Western culture, you actually don't agree with teacher and student love? I just feel that in my eyes, you are all cute children. How can you fall in love with a child, right? Teacher, I'm not happy hearing you say that. Li Fan immediately emphasized, I'm not a child, I'm a healthy man. You haven't even graduated from high school, how can you be healthy? What should be grown, is grown. What should be grown, is grown up. Li Fan immediately defended himself, making Liao Wushuang blush. What are you talking about? This is not something a student should say. I'm telling the truth, Teacher Liao, obviously you looked down on me first. At my age, my self-esteem is very sensitive, okay? Teacher is not looking down on you. But Liao Wushuang was so anxious that her face turned red, but she didn't know how to explain it. Teacher Liao, I know you are my teacher, but your duty is only to impart knowledge to me. Li Fan said very seriously, could it be that in your heart, we are always unequal? Am I not even qualified to be an ordinary friend? Of course not. Li Fan. Listen to me explain. When Liao Wushuang was anxious, she didn't know how to speak. She didn't say anything for a long time. I was rude. I thought we were friends. Li Fan's eyes seemed to be a little red. Liao Wuxuang hurriedly said, "Yes, we are friends. Otherwise, teacher wouldn't have kissed you, right? Teacher doesn't kiss just anyone. So teacher Liao means that you have a good impression of me." Li Fan felt that he was a little too cunning. Yes, yes. I admit it, but it's only limited to the kind of good feelings between friends. Liao Wuxuang felt that her defense was somewhat weak. If this went on, she really didn't know how to explain it. "Well, I believe teacher Liao. I'm already very grateful that you are willing to help me with my tutoring." Li Fan said apprehensively, "I hope teacher Liao won't be angry with me and won't drive me away." No, how could teacher do that? "How about this, teacher will give you something good to drink. The two of us drink something to calm down, and then we'll have a good lesson." With that, Liao Wuxuang stood up. Her graceful body made Li Fan linger. If he had such a beautiful girl as his wife, it would be pretty good. Wait a minute, what am I thinking? Didn't I want to tease Liao Wuxuang? How could I fall into her trap first? This girl is the woman that Bai Lin Luo likes. I must keep a certain distance from her. Liao Wuxuang came over with 2 wine glasses in one hand and a bottle of red wine in the other. "This is a Bordeaux that I brought back from abroad. I've treasured it for a long time." Liao Wuxuang winked at Li Fan and then put the wine and wine glasses on the tea table. "You can only drink a small mouthful. If you drink too much, you'll get drunk, and it's not convenient for you to study," Liao Wuxuang reminded him. Li Fan muttered in his heart, "Yes, it's not convenient for me to study when I'm drunk, but it's convenient for me to do other things." Cough, I'm evil again. Are all men really animals that think with their lower body? But my lower body is still that of a pure novice. A novice doesn't have any experience, so he can't stand any tough test. Especially this Liao Wuxuang's neckline is a bit low, revealing some deep lines, which is really attractive. Li Fan felt that he should drink more red wine. Liao Wuxuang poured a third of the wine for Li Fan. He picked up the wine glass and drank it all in one gulp. This red wine made him shiver and a bit bitter. It's not tasty at all. Looking at Li Fan's bitter face, Liao Wuxuang couldn't help but laugh. "Idiot, how can you drink red wine like this? Red wine needs to be tasted slowly, not gulp it down. I'll give you a little more, and you can taste it again. Drink a little more, and put it under your tongue." After saying that, Liao Wuxuang poured a little more for Li Fan, and then she also took a sip. Li Fan used to think that regardless of men or women, the way they eat is pretty ugly. But Liao Wuxuang broke Li Fan's common sense. When she tasted the red wine, when her sexy lips touched the wine glass, that kind of beauty and the degree of temptation really made Li Fan feel a strong killing power. Amitabha, I must correct my mentality. I can't let my imagination run wild, or my mind will be messed up. Don't forget, I'm here for tutoring, not to pick up girls. Tomorrow is the weekly exam, and I don't want to be eliminated. How shameful would it be to be eliminated? However, Li Fan still can't help but look at Liao Wuxuang's appearance while drinking red wine. It's really beautiful. This woman is simply a stunner. It's hard to imagine that she would be willing to be an English teacher. Moreover, she's still in high school. If it's me, I'll definitely want to be a teacher in a university. That way, I'll definitely encounter a lot of romantic encounters. What are you waiting for? Drink it, or do you want me to feed you? Liao Wuxuang was just joking, but she doesn't seem to know how powerful these words are to Li Fan. Li Fan glanced at Liao Wuxuang's sexy lips, forgot about drinking, and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Chapter 222. What's wrong, you don't like it? Liao Wushuang thought that Li Fan didn't like it, so she reminded him, just take a sip and slowly taste it under your tongue. Try it, teacher won't lie to you. Then I'll try. Li Fan tasted this small sip of wine and then put it under his tongue according to Liao Wushuang's instructions. From the bitterness in the mouth, a trace of sweetness slowly appeared, which made Li Fan somewhat surprised. It seems like good wine is different, but one must know how to taste it. Li Fan also tasted that small sip. When he wanted to ask Liao Wushuang for more, Liao Wushuang had already put away the red wine. It's not that teacher is stingy, but you really can't drink anymore, otherwise you will get drunk. You look down on me, Teacher Liao, I can drink 1,000 cups without getting drunk. Li Fan quickly proved his ability, but Liao Wushuang gently poked his forehead. What nonsense are you talking about? Do you think you are a martial arts master? You can drink 1,000 cups without getting drunk. Speaking of martial arts master, Teacher Liao, do you believe in martial arts master? Li Fan suddenly asked. Martial arts master? Which kind are you referring to? Liao Wushuang's eyebrows slightly raised, which was very beautiful. The kind that can fly high and has internal energy, Wang Yao said. Interesting question. Every time Liao Wushuang smiled, her eyes would narrow into a beautiful crescent, which was very beautiful. When I was abroad, I saw some martial arts masters. Their martial arts seem to be different from what you said. I haven't seen any internal energy, but those martial arts masters' fist and foot skills are good. Just fist and foot skills? Yes, and the physical fitness of our people is indeed not as good as that of foreigners. Liao Wushuang sighed. I have seen the National Wrestling Championship, those wrestlers' physical fitness is too strong. There are also some American boxers, whose body has been systematically trained, which are much stronger than us martial arts masters. Martial arts should be more powerful, right? You read too many novels. Liao Wushuang continued to state her point of view. You haven't seen the muscles on those people and their strength. People like you and only appear on TV. It's impossible for them to exist in reality. What if there is, Teacher Liao? Li Fan asked solemnly. I only believe what I see with my own eyes. Liao Wushuang pointed to her eyes, and boys your age like to have some fantasies. I understand, it's normal. But don't let your fantasies hold you back, understand? Got it. Thank you for the reminder, Teacher Liao. Li Fan had no other way. This kind of thing probably couldn't be explained clearly to Teacher Liao. He couldn't just raise his hand and make all the chairs in Teacher Liao's room fly up and then say, look, this is the power of Jinqi. Alright, let's not talk about this. Liao Wushuang steered the conversation back on track. Your current English level is not bad, but you always make some grammatical mistakes. Actually, it's very simple here, just think of it as. Liao Wushuang leaned on the coffee table with her arm on the table. She was very close to Li Fan. Her hair could even touch the tip of Li Fan's nose. There was a faint milky fragrance on her body, which was different from other girls. This reminded Li Fan of Lin Yuhsin. When she tutored him, she was also this close to him, and he could smell her fragrance. But the two of them have completely different fragrances. Why does Liao Wushuang have a milky fragrance? Li Fan tried his best to get rid of these messy questions in his mind. He didn't want to let his imagination run wild anymore. Study hard and strive to be a civilized student. Although he was somewhat distracted, he had to admit that Liao Wushuang's teaching level was very high. The English that he usually felt was like a heavenly book was now at her fingertips, allowing Li Fan to learn very quickly. The efficiency of this lesson was much better than Li Fan's 10 hours of study. Moreover, many things that Li Fan did not understand before were now clear. No wonder Bai Lin Luo likes this beautiful teacher, her level is really high. Teacher Liao, I understand this part, but I still don't quite understand this part. Li Fan took a piece of paper and pushed it to Liao Wuxuang. But when Liao Wuxuang took it, she accidentally knocked the wine glass over, spilling the red wine on Liao Wuxuang's t-shirt. "Ah!" Liao Wuxuang exclaimed and took a few steps back. And Li Fan quickly straightened the wine glass, but it was too late. "Teacher Liao, are you okay?" "I'm fine. I'll go wash." Liao Wuxuang shook the wine on her chest. "It's a waste of this red wine. I'll help teacher wipe the table. Teacher, quickly go wash it." Li Fan pulled out a few paper towels and began to wipe the table. Liao Wuxuang has walked into the bathroom next to it. Perhaps because this is a single apartment, this bathroom is also a semi-open type, with a frosted glass on the outside. Through this frosted glass, Li Fan can see Liao Wuxuang's vague charming figure inside. This is really contradictory. Since it's vague, how can it be called charming? It's probably because Liao Wuxuang left a beautiful impression on me. This is true. Ah! Just when Li Fan was trying to dispel the unhealthy fantasy in his mind, a sudden exclamation came from the bathroom. "There's a situation." Did a monster crawl out of the toilet, or red blood dripping from the water pipe? At that moment, Li Fan really wanted to directly rush into the bathroom and save Liao Wuxuang like a hero. But he still retained his rationality, just slightly stood up and sat back down. Liao Wuxuang took the initiative to open the bathroom door and walked out. She was wrapped in a white bath towel, covering most of her body, but it made her figure more curvaceous. Li Fan said that this appearance makes people want to commit a crime. It's better to not wear it. "Li Fan. Can you help me?" Liao Wuxuang's body is a little wet, but her hair is tied up, so it's not wet. "What's wrong?" "Teacher Liao." Li Fan felt a little blood rush to his head. "Isn't this challenging my psychological bottom line?" "No, it's challenging my moral standards. No matter what, I'm also a young man. Is this really good?" Li Fan is depressed. This kind of thing, he doesn't know if he should be embarrassed or happy. I don't know why the water pipe is broken. It seems like a valve is loose. With my current appearance, it's not convenient to find the property management. "Li Fan, can you help me take a look?" "Not at all, let me take a look." In the past, when he lived in a dilapidated house, the water pipes at home were always broken. Li Fan learned how to repair it from his father. If it's a small problem, he can indeed fix it. Chapter 223. Liao Wuxuang really found the right person. Li Fan is quite experienced in this kind of thing. He rolled up his sleeves and walked into the bathroom. The bathroom looks like it has collapsed. Many pipes are spraying water, as if Super Mario is rebelling in the pipes. What kind of high-class apartment is this? The plumbing is so bad. Seeing these aging pipes, Li Fan can't help but want to complain. They say that houses are a big hole, but unexpectedly, even such a high-class apartment is severely damaged. I have to contact the property management to fix it. Li Fan said, "Many of the pipes are old, usually nothing happens, but once something happens, it will be a big problem. God. If I knew the apartment is like this, I wouldn't live here." Liao Wuxuang is somewhat depressed. "This is so troublesome, and the property management won't come at this time. I can only find them tomorrow." "Well, I'll help you close the valve first." As Li Fan spoke, he bent down and squatted at the valve. With a push of his hand, he first closed the main water valve of the house. The spraying pipes also slowly calmed down. When Li Fan stood up, Liao Wuxuang seemed a little nervous, probably the first time she encountered this kind of thing. "Teacher Liao, it's done, but we can't use water at home tonight." Li Fan reminded, "Tomorrow, let the property management people come over to help you take a look." Really sorry. Liao Wushuang said with a red face, I asked you to come over for tutoring, but in the end, you still have to help me deal with these things. Teacher, what are you talking about? Didn't you say that I'm a friend? When we study, we are teacher and student. In private, we are good friends. Between good friends, there's no need to be so polite. Well, wait for teacher to change clothes, then we will continue the class. Liao Wushuang seems to feel that wearing a nightgown is a bit inappropriate, so she put down her hair and was about to go to the bedroom. But at this time, the light in the room suddenly went out. The entire community seemed to fall into darkness, and Li Fan and Liao Wushuang also escaped into the darkness. Li Fan, are you still there? Liao Wushuang said in a trembling voice. Although Li Fan had practiced internal energy and could see in the night, he would still fall into a state of blindness for a period of time when it suddenly became dark. Li Fan. Liao Wushuang's voice rang in his ears. Judging from the voice, she was less than half a meter in front of him on the left. Hearing the fear in Liao Wushuang's voice, Li Fan quickly replied. I'm here, Teacher Liao. Li Fan. I think I'm blind. I can't see you, Li Fan almost laughed out loud. Sometimes, this Teacher Liao was very philosophical, and sometimes, he was especially cute. Teacher Liao, there's a power outage. Ah, so it's a power outage. You scared me to death, Liao Wushuang heaved a sigh of relief. I thought I suddenly lost my sight due to overuse of my eyes. You're exaggerating, Teacher Liao. You're too humorous. That's hard to say. But it's good that I'm not blind. Li Fan, I'm sorry. You came here, and there's a power outage and water outage. It's okay, Teacher Liao. My previous house was always like this. He didn't expect a high-class apartment to be similar to his dilapidated house. Everyone was the same. It seemed that expensive wasn't good. Such a high-class apartment, there would always be problems. Since there's a power outage, I'll go home. Seeing that it was getting late, Li Fan decided to go home and practice before going to bed. Don't. Liao Wushuang blurted out, which made Li Fan curious. Teacher Liao, what's wrong? That. You haven't finished your homework. Actually, I'm pretty good at math. How about I help you with your math? Aw. But there's a power outage. I still have candles at home. Lend me your phone. I'll go look for it, okay? Li Fan couldn't refuse this enthusiastic Liao Wushuang, but he thought about it and couldn't help but ask. Teacher Liao. Are you afraid of the dark? Nonsense, I'm an atheist. Why would I be afraid of the dark? Liao Wushuang had already turned on her phone. Because it was too dark, she didn't notice that her bathrobe was slightly slipping, revealing some forbidden areas that shouldn't be seen. Li Fan swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Damn. This situation seems a bit serious. If I continue to study like this, will I make any mistakes? This is hard to say. I'm a normal man. Would a normal man resist this kind of thing? Li Fan fell into deep thought. According to his understanding, among the men he knew, there wasn't such a powerful guy. As for the legendary Lu Xiaohui. Anyway, I haven't seen him, so I'm deeply doubtful. That calm guy, is he really not a eunuch? At this time, Liao Wushuang didn't know what her student was thinking. She was bending over and rummaging through a small cabinet in the living room. As she bent over, the curve of her buttocks was exposed under the bath towel. Moreover, the bath towel was so short that it was impossible to complete the task given by its owner. A part of it was already out of the control of the bath towel, waving at Li Fan in the dark. Although Li Fan could also see, some places with serious shadows would also affect his vision. What is the truth under the bath towel? Li Fan felt that as a martial artist, he should actively train his eyesight, to strive to see darker and deeper things, and then strive to explore the light. Li Fan was moved by his great goal. Such a diligent martial artist would probably be fewer and fewer. However, Li Fan changed his mind. This is the woman that Bai Lin Luo likes. I'm so sorry to my brother like this. Thinking of this, Li Fan patted his face and warned himself. Li Fan, it's not wrong for a man to like a woman, but absolutely not without a bottom line. Since it's a woman that my brother likes, how can I overstep it? Found it. Liao Wuxuang obviously didn't know that her student had just experienced a mental battle. She finally found the candle, carefully walked over, and sat next to Li Fan. Looking at the exquisite candlestick in front of him, the candle, and the red wine, Li Fan couldn't help but say. Seems like a candlelight dinner. It's a bit like that. But our dinner is spiritual food. Liao Wuxuang said while writing down a few formulas for Li Fan. I like to call them universal formulas. Look, I'll give you a few questions. Smelling the milk fragrance on Liao Wuxuang's body, Li Fan entered this beautiful, learning atmosphere. Chapter 224. The tutoring session became more and more ambiguous as time went on. Because she was in the dark, Liao Wuxuang seemed to have forgotten that she was only wrapped in a bath towel, probably because she was used to dressing like this at home. Liao Wuxuang was very serious about the questions and didn't realize how much she exposed herself. Li Fan also strongly dispelled those unhealthy thoughts in his mind, so that he could keep his mind clear and concentrate on his studies. Liao Wuxuang's way of teaching was completely different from Lin Yuhsin. Lin Yuhsin taught him more like how to deal with exams. But Liao Wuxuang made him take the initiative to be interested in studying, so that the learning effect would be better. Li Fan followed Liao Wuxuang to do the questions for a long time, but there was no response. He looked at his phone and found it was already midnight. Teacher Liao, it's already midnight, I really should go home. Although he didn't know if Muronging was waiting for him at home, as a husband, he should go home at night. Okay. Then you can go back. Liao Wuxuang seemed a little scared, but she was too embarrassed to say it, so she could only let Li Fan leave. Goodbye, Teacher Liao. When Li Fan was about to leave, the window suddenly lit up like daytime, reflecting Liao Wuxuang's beautiful figure. This beautiful scene only lasted for a moment. A second or two later, a loud thunder pierced the eardrum and exploded. Liao Wuxuang screamed in fright and directly hugged Li Fan, her body still trembling. Li Fan was stunned. This teacher Liao is not only afraid of the dark but also thunder. I'm sorry. Liao Wuxuang seemed to be aware of her gaffe. She blushed and took 2 steps back, seemingly a little embarrassed. I was a little lost. No, thunder is very scary. Li Fan quickly changed the topic. I heard thunder is God's anger, using thunder to punish humans. Don't say it. Can you wait? Wait until the thunder is not. It's not too late to leave. Liao Wuxuang seemed to be really scared, so she begged Li Fan. All right then. His teacher had already begged him so much, and it would be a little unreasonable for him to refuse. Sigh, he was just that kind. But it's already so late. I don't really feel like studying anymore. Li Fan really couldn't learn anymore, and Liao Wuxuang didn't force him. It's okay. At this time, your brain will indeed be a little muddled. Even if he learned it, the effect would be greatly reduced. Then let's take a break. Li Fan's expression was a little dull, and Liao Wuxuang hurriedly explained, It's just a simple rest, nothing else. I'm not thinking about anything else. Teacher, what are you thinking about? Li Fan asked. I'm fine. Then let's rest, Liao Wuxuang said, but there's only one bed in the house. You can sleep on the bed, and I'll sleep on the sofa, because it was a beautiful bachelor pad, there was only one room. The kitchen and bathroom were semi-open, and the bedroom was next to the window, where there was a beautiful round bed. The sofa was in the living room, and the candlelight next to it was faintly lit, making this originally clean apartment look even more strange. That's not good. Teacher is a girl, how can you let a girl sleep on the sofa? I'm a teacher, so naturally, I should take care of my students. Liao Wuxuang said, how can I let my students sleep on the sofa? This is against a teacher's principle. Letting a girl sleep on the sofa is against a man's principle. Li Fan repeatedly emphasized, Teacher Liao, if you don't agree, I'll leave. Don't. Liao Wuxuang hurriedly agreed, then teacher can sleep on the bed. That's right. Teacher, you should rest now. I also have to sleep early. I still have an exam tomorrow. It's time to rest. Liao Wuxuang looked at Li Fan's phone, and it was indeed late. The two of them were a bit embarrassed. Liao Wuxuang lay on the bed and covered herself with the quilt. She quietly took off her towel and put it on the side of the bed. What the? This female teacher likes to sleep naked. Li Fan said, this is really the same hobby. I also like to sleep naked. Sleeping naked is good for my health. But if Liao Wuxuang can strip naked, then it's a bit inconvenient for me. I can't just strip naked in a girl's house, that's a bit inconvenient for me. Li Fan felt that he should have the integrity of a gentleman. I'm so great. I've sacrificed so much, it's really worth praising. Li Fan secretly admired himself. At this time, lightning and thunder began to rumble outside, as if a storm was coming. Li Fan. Are you still awake? Liao Wuxuang, lying on the bed, feeling the lightning and thunder, felt a bit scared and subconsciously asked. I'm awake, teacher. Sleeping with such a beautiful woman in the same room, it's impossible to fall asleep easily. Li Fan answered, which made Liao Wuxuang feel a bit relieved. Li Fan. Tell me a story. Taking advantage of such a violent rainy night, Liao Wuxuang couldn't care less about some things in order to boost her courage. When I was young, on a thunderous and rainy night, my mother would always tell me a story. If he could see Liao Wuxuang's face, he would definitely find that her face was very red. Li Fan naturally couldn't see her face, but he could catch the moonlight and see her beautiful figure covered by the quilt. Liao Wuxuang's quilt wasn't very thick, and it was only a thin layer. Covering her body, it didn't have any concealment effect. Instead, it made her figure more visible. The feeling of committing a crime was really getting stronger and stronger, and Li Fan felt that some force was about to awaken. So, tell me a story. I know a few stories, which one do you want to hear, teacher? Li Fan listed a few options. For example, an embroidered shoe, a hand under the bed, and a back-to-back is really comfortable. Wait a minute. Liao Wuxuang almost peed her pants in fright. It was the middle of the night, and there was a water and electricity outage, so she didn't dare to pee. I refuse to listen to these stories. Sometimes, people have to be brave enough to challenge themselves, teacher. Li Fan chuckled. Liao Wuxuang was silent for a moment before asking Li Fan. Li Fan, you look quite handsome. I know a few handsome gay guys abroad, do you want me to introduce them to you? Teacher, my sexual orientation is very normal. People have to be brave enough to challenge themselves, classmate Li Fan. Liao Wuxuang's exact words left Li Fan speechless. Chapter 225. Liao Wushuang's eloquence is very high. Basically, she can make people speechless in just 3 sentences. Li Fan originally wanted to tease Liao Wushuang, but he didn't expect to be teased instead. Failure, what a failure, I've made men lose face. After reading so many online novels, the male protagonists in those novels can have a war of words with a group of girls and make them wet with just his mouth. Looking at me, I'm so lame, really lame. Could it be that there's no such man in reality? If only there's a man who can teach me. A man's charm is not only based on his martial arts, but also his eloquence. Sweet talk is also a kind of weapon. Li Fan has always believed in it. It seems like I need to put more effort in this aspect. Can't you tell me a story that's not scary? After another lightning bolt, Liao Wushuang broke the silence again. I have a story about Wuxia. Teacher, do you want to hear it? Li Fan pondered for a moment and then asked. Okay, go ahead. I also like to read wuxia novels. Liao Wushuang didn't object. Once upon a time, there was a high school student. He was always ordinary and was bullied. High school student. Shouldn't wuxia novels take place in ancient times? Liao Wushuang interrupted Li Fan. No, it's in modern times. Li Fan said, after all, it's a story. Teacher, do you still want to hear it? It sounds interesting. Well, this high school student, because of an accident, stepped on the road of martial arts. From then on, he was no longer an ordinary high school student. He had power and wanted to find an extraordinary life. He defeated many strong enemies and won some fame and money. But because of this, he also provoked some enemies. Some in the dark, some in the light, all wanted to kill this high school student. Choosing power is also accompanied by danger. Teacher Liao, do you think this high school student's choice was right? Is this a story of your own imagination? Liao Wushuang said very seriously, it's understandable. At your age, having some unrealistic fantasies is also understandable. After all, at your age, you crave power and desire to be different from the masses. Isn't it just a story? Teacher, you won't be able to tell a story like this. Of course, the story is quite nice, but I just want to tell you that a story is just a story. Don't take it seriously. You have to be brave enough to walk out of your fantasies and face reality. Then why are you still afraid of thunder? Li Fan secretly waved his fist. Well done, he had finally recovered. This is what a man should be like. I suddenly realized that you're not an honest child either, Liao Wushuang muttered. The last time I met Wang Chang, he told me that you're a hooligan student and told me not to get too close to you. I'm being wronged. Teacher, I'm an honest student. That Wang Chang is the real hooligan. He always uses his family's money to bully others in school. Take me for example. I have no power and no background. I don't know how many times he has bullied me. I told the school, but the school was afraid of his family's power and never cared. Li Fan continued, once, Wang Chang and Hua Dehong, 2 students, took the lead and bullied a boy. Not only did they often beat him, they even made him take off his pants and took a video. In the end, the boy became schizophrenic. There's such a thing. Liao Wushuang was shocked. She never thought that such a thing would happen in this school. I'm not lying to you, Teacher Liao. Li Fan still remembered this incident. At that time, it caused quite a stir in the school, but it was quickly calmed down. That student had schizophrenia and had to drop out of school. As for Hua Dehong and Wang Chang, they only had to pay 20,000 yuan. Then, they each wrote a self-reflection letter and were fine. How is this possible? It's obviously a school, why is it so dark? it's because of school violence that it's not easy to solve. Li Fan sighed, especially when it involves some students with family backgrounds, it's even more difficult to solve. Once school violence happens, everyone will say that it's just a fight between children, why do you have to make it so big? Then the matter will slowly go away, and the perpetrator of school violence will never be punished. School violence is simply a paradise for thugs. Although I like China, I have to say, this is a deep-rooted bad habit of the Chinese. Liao Wushuang sighed deeply, everyone has always had problems with the education of children. I think the first thing to strengthen the education of children is moral education, not exam-oriented education. It would be good if Teacher Liao was the director of education. You're too naive. This is not something that can be decided by a director of education, but by millions of families, hundreds of millions of parents. This is a deep-rooted problem in our hearts in this era. Liao Wushuang said, but if there really is a high school student like you said, he will be willing to stand up for these students. But he's only one person. A person's strength can do as much as he can. Liao Wushuang started her philosophical mode again, if everyone is willing to do this, then the world will naturally be beautiful. Teacher Liao is also an idealist. Li Fan couldn't help but say, it's good to be an idealist. With a firm belief every day, you won't have to worry about so many things. Everyone is an idealist. Liao Wushuang said, as long as the world is not ideal enough. Thank you for your lesson, Teacher Liao. I learned a lot from you. You're really a good teacher and helpful friend. Li Fan said. It's good that I can help you. Liao Wushuang said in her heart, finally, I'm a little sleepy. But at this time, thunder and lightning sounded again, and this time the thunder and lightning was even louder, as if to tear the sky into two halves. Liao Wushuang shivered in the bed, how could there be such a big thunder? But Li Fan didn't care about this thunder. Anyway, he didn't do anything wrong, so he's not afraid of thunder at night. Not knowing how much time had passed, Li Fan felt sleepy. He closed his eyes and waited for the arrival of sleep. Sigh, if I can sleep with a girl in my arms. Even if it's Teacher Liao. With her figure. It must be very comfortable to sleep with her in my arms. Thinking of this, Li Fan subconsciously used his hand to pinch. As a result, a soft ball of something was held in his hand, followed by a moan. What the hell? Li Fan opened his eyes and found that Teacher Liao had unknowingly slipped to his sofa, curled up into a ball, and actually fell asleep. Damn, is this woman's zodiac a cat? There's actually someone who can silently come to my side without being noticed. Chapter 226. Perhaps because he was too tired, Li Fan glanced at Liao Wushuang who had already fallen asleep in his arms. He didn't know whether he should kick Liao Wushuang down or just silently accept her. Forget it, Teacher Liao had been worried for half a day. Now that she had finally fallen asleep, it was somewhat unbearable for him to kick her down. Li Fan, aw, Li Fan, you are good in every aspect, but you are too kind. Li Fan felt deep admiration for his own kindness. At the same time, he also felt sleepy and slowly entered into a dream. Li Fan had a dream. In the dream, he discovered that he had become an emperor. He sat on the dragon throne and looked at the ministers below him. Below him stood 2 rows of civil and military generals. Bai Lin Luo was the grand state preceptor and Guan Wenbao was the grand general. Yan Kai was the head of the imperial palace. He held a horsetail whisk in his hand and stood not far away from him. Huang Lei didn't know what official position he held. He held a white jade in his hand and stood below. His eyes kept glancing at the palace maid beside him. Your Majesty, why are you still in court? Everyone is waiting anxiously. Lu Xinan unexpectedly appeared in his dream. She was wearing the clothes of an imperial concubine. She walked to his side and pulled his hand to sit in her embrace. Audacious! Is this a place for you to be presumptuous? Muronging also appeared. She was wearing the clothes of an empress and had an arrogant look on her face. Just an insignificant imperial concubine. Quickly retreat. So what if I'm an imperial concubine? His Majesty dotes on me. You, an empress who has fallen out of favor, don't appear here. Otherwise, you will be laughed at by the ministers. Lu Xinan's words were still so hidden and piercing straight to the heart. Li Fan said that if he was Muronging, the temple would definitely explode. Sure enough, with Muronging's temper, how could she endure this? She tenderly scolded. Audacious! Come, drag this woman out and behead her bewitching words. Don't, Your Highness. Lin Yuhsien is also wearing the clothes of an imperial consort and walks out from the back, blocking those guards. Although Consort Xian has a bad mouth, her heart is still good. After all, she's our sister. Your Highness, please spare her this once. Unforgivable. Murong Ai was also wearing the clothes of a concubine. She poked her head out from behind Muronging. Concubine Xian is especially bad. He's always bullying me. Sister, you have to help me. I won't let anyone bully us sisters. Muronging said, whoever bullies us sisters will have to pay the price. Everyone, calm down. At some point, Liao Wushuang was also standing here, trying to persuade these women. We're a family, and we should help each other in times of need. Why are you quarreling? Fuck, why did this woman appear? She was his teacher. She shouldn't have appeared in his dreams. Furthermore, she appeared in the image of an imperial concubine. Ah, stop quarreling. It seems like His Majesty's favorite imperial concubine has arrived. Heavens, I'm so envious of her. A group of imperial concubines and the empress looked at the back with envy and jealousy. Li Fan also couldn't help but turn his head. His favorite imperial concubine, in this group of beauties, how beautiful is she? Your Majesty, Rinjia missed you to death, Your Majesty. Tai Zhu is wearing the clothes of an imperial concubine. She twisted her thick waist and acted coquettishly towards Li Fan. Oh my God! Li Fan suddenly opened his eyes and found himself lying on a comfortable sofa. The surrounding scene was a little strange, but also a little familiar. He remembered that he was in Liao Wushuang's house. You're awake. Liao Wushuang is standing at the side. She is wearing a white shirt and black trousers. Her hair is tied into a beautiful ponytail. She looks very elegant and elegant. She tilts her head and looks at Li Fan. Did you sleep well? Very well. Li Fan rolled his eyes and then said, I'm a person who is very particular about my bed. Usually, if I don't sleep in my own bed, I can't sleep well. But today, I slept exceptionally well. Why? Liao Wushuang is somewhat curious. Because, although I'm a boy, I have the same problem as a girl. That is, I like to hug something to sleep. Otherwise, I won't feel safe. Hearing Li Fan's words, Liao Wushuang's face suddenly blushed. Last night's matter. I'm afraid of thunder. You must forget about it. Oh, what I said was, when I was a child, I liked to hug a puppy to sleep. Teacher Liao, what are you thinking? Li Fan chuckled. Liao Wushuang is even more embarrassed. How can you tease a teacher like this? I'll fail you in English. Teacher Liao, you can't abuse your power like this. Li Fan immediately became anxious. If he failed in English, what would happen? Although I won't fall to the last place with one less score, if I fail in English, won't Chang Chunchi laugh at me to death? As a person, he must not lose face like this. Humph, who told a student like you to be so glib? Liao Wuxuang said, if you dare to talk nonsense again, I'll really punish you like this. I'm not talking nonsense, aren't what I said the truth? No, I must forget about it. By the way, Teacher Liao, there's something I'm worried about. Li Fan suddenly became worried. Liao Wuxuang tilted her head, what's the matter? Both of us slept naked last night, will we give birth to a child? You. Liao Wuxuang was momentarily speechless, as if choked. We didn't do that, how could we get pregnant? Liao Wuxuang is angry and ashamed, this child, don't understand the scientific truth. If a man and a woman want to have a child, they must go through that kind of thing. Moreover, it's not that easy to get pregnant, not to mention these 2 days are still my safe period. Ah. Liao Wuxuang felt that she had inadvertently said something terrible, and Li Fan was also stunned. How could he continue the conversation? The two people were embarrassed for a long time, the atmosphere is unusually thick. After a long time, a burnt smell rushed into their nose, and Liao Wuxuang suddenly exclaimed. Not good. I boiled the milk. She ran to the kitchen in a panic. Li Fan followed her and saw that the kitchen has begun to emit black smoke. A pot sitting on the stove has begun to burn. The fire is so strong that Liao Wuxuang panicked, subconsciously grabbed the water basin next to her and splashed it on the pot. Hey, don't! Li Fan exclaimed, but it's too late, the water has been splashed on the pot. Boom! My goodness, a huge fireball soared to the sky and burned the ceiling, blackening it. Teacher Liao. You're not an English teacher, you should be a mage. This big fireball is really good. Li Fan can't help but ridicule. Liao Wuxuang is already at a loss, not knowing what to do. Chapter 227. Teacher Liao, step back. Li Fan pulled Liao Wuxuang behind him, reached out to turn off the gas valve, and then swept his hand toward the pot. Although the wind can help the fire, if the wind is too strong, like a vacuum, it can also smoothly extinguish the fire. Sure enough, with Li Fan's palm strike, the blazing flame immediately extinguished. Ha! Liao Wuxuang was somewhat surprised, could it be that turning off the gas can extinguish the fire? This is not scientific. Lucky. Li Fan is also glad that he has internal force, otherwise, this fire would really be ignited. The entire kitchen was burned black, the ceiling has turned into a black curtain. The landlord won't look for you, right? Li Fan is somewhat worried, this place burned to this state, it will not be cheap to renovate it. If he meets a black-hearted landlord, he will be ruthlessly ripped off, perhaps he will feel pain. It's okay, I have already bought the house. Liao Wuxuang gave Li Fan a smile, thank you for your concern for teacher, teacher is very happy. Fuck, dead nouveau riche. Li Fan suddenly does not know how to respond, why the world is full of this kind of nouveau riche. Muronging is rich, Lu Xinan is rich, even this new teacher Liao is also a little nouveau riche. There is no justice, how can I continue to be silent, I must be a real rich generation. Looks like I can't eat milk. But teacher still made sandwiches. Liao Wuxuang brought 2 plates from the balcony, with sandwiches that she made. Ah, teacher Liao also knows how to make a Western breakfast. There was a fried egg and a sandwich on the plate. It looked quite presentable. It's cheaper to cook for yourself abroad. At your age, a glass of milk every morning is the best. Liao Wuxuang is a bit annoyed, unfortunately, I messed it up, is teacher a bit stupid? How can teacher Liao be stupid, teacher Liao's knowledge is very rich. Li Fan quickly said, a lot of students in the class especially admire teacher Liao's knowledge. But knowledge does not mean wisdom. Liao Wushuang is slightly tangled. Do I have to eat red wine for breakfast? Forget it, I still have a test later. I'll just drink some water when I get to class. Li Fan said that it was better not to drink red wine. The more you drink, the easier it is to get into trouble. After breakfast, Liao Wushuang proposed to drive Li Fan to school. Li Fan didn't refuse. After all, it was a bit shocking to go from Liao Wushuang's place to school. It was a distance of more than 20 kilometers. If he ran to school at a normal speed, it would be strange if he wasn't late. Liao Wushuang took out her red BMW Z4 from the garage and let Li Fan sit in the front passenger seat. Hey, Li Fan, why don't you fasten your seatbelt? Liao Wushuang couldn't help but ask when she saw that Li Fan had no intention of fastening his seatbelt. The co-pilot doesn't have to wear a seatbelt. It's okay. Li Fan waved his hand casually. He had never fastened his seatbelt while sitting in the front passenger seat. It should be said that he was not the only one. Everyone in a city was almost the same. Everyone didn't have this habit of sitting in the front passenger seat. It was very casual. How can this be? This is a bad habit. Liao Wushuang pulled the handbrake and then twisted her body, almost pressing on Li Fan's body. She pulled the seat belt for him and buckled it carefully. Although they had slept together for a night, Li Fan was also very sleepy at that time, so he didn't feel much. But now the two of them were so close to each other that their breaths seemed to merge together. Bah, why did you use such a dirty word? But she was really close to him. It was said in the book that when two people were too close to each other for more than 3 seconds, the hormones between men and women would have a strange reaction, and then they would begin to attract each other. Although human beings were advanced animals, they were not separated from the nature of animals. In some primitive aspects, there was still no difference. Liao Wushuang and Li Fan were obviously among them, especially Liao Wushuang's chest pressed on Li Fan's collar, which made Li Fan feel happy and suffocated. It could also be said that he was so happy that he was about to suffocate. The two of their faces were also very close, and they could feel each other's breath. At that moment, Li Fan felt that Liao Wushuang's lips were even more tempting. The rosy lips were placed in front of him, like a plate of delicious food, waiting for him to taste. After Liao Wushuang fastened her seatbelt, she also seemed to feel that kind of charming atmosphere. She looked at Li Fan, her eyes blinking, and her long eyelashes trembled. Every time her eyelashes trembled, it seemed to be able to tug at Li Fan's heartstrings. It was as if someone had thrown a heart-shaped stone into Li Fan's heart, causing endless ripples. A strong attraction seemed to be stronger than his dragon toad's water absorption. Li Fan subconsciously wanted to move closer to Liao Wushuang's lips. Very close, really very close. Just a little bit more, and I can kiss her. 5 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 1 centimeter. He seemed to be able to feel the temperature on Liao Wushuang's lips, but at this moment, a car horn pierced their ears, and the driver behind them kept pressing on the horn. If you want to kiss, go home and kiss. Don't block the way. You two might as well have sex in the car. The people behind them cursed, and Li Fan and Liao Wushuang felt very embarrassed. Fasten it, Liao Wushuang blushed, returned to the driver's seat, and then started the car in a hurry. Before she stepped on the clutch, she first stepped on the gas pedal. But with a bang, the car stalled. Liao Wushuang hurriedly restarted the car, but she didn't find the clutch properly, and the car just started, and the engine stalled again. Phew, Liao Wushuang took 2 deep breaths, as if trying to calm herself down. Li Fan stretched out his hand and gently placed it on Liao Wushuang's hand that was holding the gear lever. Teacher Liao, don't worry, take your time. But the people behind us are so anxious. Liao Wushuang's ears were filled with the honking of the car behind them. Don't bother with him. Keep your mind clear. Li Fan's voice seemed to have a magical power, drilling into Liao Wushuang's ears. At this moment, the honking in her ears seemed to be far away, and the world became quiet. Liao Wushuang's mood also eased a lot. She was silent for a moment, and then skillfully changed the gear. The car smoothly started and drove out of the community. Thank you, Li Fan. Liao Wushuang expressed her gratitude to Li Fan. Teacher Liao, you're too polite. We've slept together, don't be too polite. Go to hell, as if that's a big deal. Liao Wushuang blushed, don't talk nonsense in school. What are you afraid of? We're not afraid of slanderous accusations. Li Fan vowed, no matter how the world views us, I will not be afraid. Why do you make it sound like a teacher and student love? I didn't say that, it was Teacher Liao who said it. Humph, you're just a little kid. How am I little? Where am I little? You're indeed very little, I even secretly touched you last night. What did you say? You're tuning in to the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.